Boom. We're live, guys. All right, second live stream. We're super excited to have you here pre-Black Friday. So if you don't know, Amazon kicked off their deals early, as well as a ton of other retailers. So today we're just going to be running through pretty much everything we have here in the office, have reviewed, and then of course you'll have some opportunities to ask us some questions as well. I think there's some really awesome deals out there from what we've seen so far.
Yeah, just clicking around this morning, just looking at the stuff that I was going to be talking about specifically, I was happy to see a lot of deals. Some stuff I was kind of hoping it would be on deal already, but we think it's going to be, so we'll point that out. Keep an eye out for some stuff that might go on deal, but a lot of good stuff out there right now, for sure.
And we've got some pretty awesome giveaways that are going to happen here throughout the stream. So we've got a nice regimented schedule. Every about 30 minutes, we're going to be running a giveaway for chairs, cable management box. And at the end, you're going to want to stick around because we're going to do a full desk setup, desk and a chair. So I think with that, how many people we got in here? Looks like people are starting to come in.
Yeah, so and as we were saying, so as we go through the setups, if you guys have questions about stuff we're doing, just kind of drop them in the chat, and then when we get through our setups, we'll run through kind of the best questions, the questions that we know that we can really help you guys out. So if you have questions either about the different products, about deals that are going on, different things, we'll do our best to help you guys out.
I think we got to find out, what is everybody most excited about? Are you looking for a chair? Are we looking for a desk, accessories? Why are you here today? Free stuff?
Yeah, because we'll talk about all of it. You know, we have extra stuff too. If you guys really want to see chair deals, we got lots of chairs ready to talk about. But we'll kind of keep going through different things, spread through, so we're not too fixed on one type of thing. But yeah, some more people still coming in.
Yeah, it looks like we got enough people here. We want to start that first setup, Robert.
Yeah, and actually, I think Ryan's going to kick.
Yeah, I can introduce the first setup here. This is going to be our first kind of entry-level, budget-friendly setup, and it's going to be kind of headlined by the FlexiSpot desk. Now, this isn't going to be a high-end product, but it is going to be one of our picks if you're looking for something, you know, under that $400 price point. And right now, FlexiSpot actually has their deal going. It's 28% off, so you can get this desk for $287.99. Again, it's not going to be super high-end, but you are getting very good value for this price point, and it is something that we do feel good about recommending if you need something on the cheaper side. And then it does have a nice chair there with it. I'm a fan of that Kalami Atlas. Unfortunately, it's not on deal yet, but I still think it's a pretty good price at $259.99. But keep an eye on that because they are known to have some pretty good deals, and I'd suspect they'll give another coupon with that one coming up here at the end of the week. So.
Yeah, I think FlexiSpot. So one of the things that's really interesting about FlexiSpot, their actual parent company, Loctech, you're going to see products from Loctech that are rebranded in other names. Some stuff like Monoprice, I know for sure Vivo's got some stuff in there. But, of course, FlexiSpot being the fact that they are the manufacturer, good chance you're probably going to get the best prices on some of the products if you go that route. What else did you have in that setup, Ryan?
We had the Huano single spring arm, which was actually recently featured in your list for monitor arms. So if you're looking for another budget-friendly option, I think the normal price on this is $49.99. And right now it's over 30% off. They've already got their deal going, so you can pick this up for $33.99. So pretty good value there. And then on that monitor is a pretty decent-sized monitor, or on that monitor arm is the monitor, a 27-inch Samsung, and that baby's $100 off right now at Best Buy. So probably one of the best deals in this setup here, just from a pure percentage standpoint.
Yeah, I think one of the things about the monitor arms is when you get in the entry-level stuff, they're not necessarily the cream of the crop, but they function, right? I mean, they work. And so if you're the set it and forget it, and maybe you're not putting a $1,200 monitor on there, I don't see it really being a big deal. I know people, once they get into the more expensive monitors, I'm that way as well. I don't necessarily want to go in the entry-level stuff, but I think you're also committing more to your setup at that point anyways. But if you've got a pretty standard kind of setup with 24s or 27s, they're maybe a couple $100.
It's practical, right?
Right, exactly.
I mean, it functions, it does the job, it's practical, it's not going to break the bank. It might not look the best, and yeah, you probably don't want to trust it with the most expensive monitor, but it does the job.
Yeah, and we don't have it set up right now, but Huano has basically the same monitor arm, but set up as a dual, right, Greg? And I think we've had that in here before.
Yep.
Which I'm sure that one's going to be on sale right now. I don't have the page right in front of me. Maybe we can look it up. But so if you're looking for a dual setup, Huano has a lot of stuff, and we do have some other dual stuff coming on too. One thing, Colton here, our camera operator, is giving us a nice view of that desk. So just kind of going back to the deal on that Flexi Spot, this is a 55 by 28 top. So it's kind of a little bit of an odd size, but that's where that good deal is right now. And personally, I think this is a great size. If you're going to have just a regular rectangle desk, that 28 inches deep, you can kind of see, again, by this angle, you can see how Frances, who's working at the desk there, she has plenty of depth so that you can have, mouse, keyboard, your desk pad, but it also keeps that monitor far enough away from you so that it's not pushed up in your face, which is great. Because a lot of times, if you get down to these desks that are $300, under $300, it's going to be for a much smaller size, maybe a 30-inch wide by 24, is that what we'll see a lot. So This is a deeper, it's not a ton deeper, but that 4 inches does make a difference. And the 55 wide is really nice too. 60 is a real standard size, so we're almost there. It's going to be wide enough that if you did have two monitors next to each other, they're still going to fit. If you're up to two 32s, you're going to be going off. But if you had two 27s side by side, they'd still fit on that desk, no problem.
Another positive of that desk, if you noticed when Frances was just moving it around, most desks in this price range are going to just rock and wobble and almost be unusable once they get to a certain height. But the Flexi Spot's actually pretty decent. Once you get, if you're over 6 foot, you're going to feel it a lot more. But, under that, it's going to be a pretty stable desk for the price. So I guess moving down, a couple more accessory type products that are actually on really good deal right now are both the keyboard and the mouse, the Logi products. So they're both, one's 50% off and one's $8 off. So $39.99 down to $19.99 on that mouse, and then $8 off on that keyboard, the blue version. I believe it's on clearance right now.
Did I miss it? Did you talk about the chair already?
We talked a little bit about the chair and how it's not on deal yet, but maybe keep an eye out for it because, that is currently my pick for best chair under $300. And even still without a coupon, it's $259.99, which I think is still an incredible deal.
I think it was wasn't it three when we first brought it in? It was $320 or something like that. I think is what the original price is. So they've kind of locked it down here at this lower price, anyways. But yeah, I can't see how this product. There's been a ton of them selling. Everybody, if you have gotten it, give us your feedback on it. I think it's a great chair for the price at $259. It seems like it's still a great deal, but I bet it's going to come down even more. I'm kind of shocked that it hasn't.
They have their other chair on sale already now too, so I'm starting to question maybe they won't actually put this one on sale, but even if they don't, it's still one of the best values out there right now. Great chair. One of the most well-built chairs I've ever seen for under $300 for sure. One of the biggest problems is that price is going to be U.S. We've heard some complaints from people from Canada and EU that the price isn't anywhere near that, which is unfortunate. I'm not sure why it fluctuates so much in different countries, but it's a good value for U.S. customers for sure.
Yeah, not all mesh. It's mesh in the back, and then it has a padded seat. But, that thing for $259, it has pretty much all the adjustments everybody's always asking about. Headrest, right? Everybody's like, if it doesn't have a headrest, I'm not even going to consider it. Well, you got yourself a headrest. But it's got a pretty intuitive seat slider. I like it because it's just like the gesture, which is kind of a game changer. I did see some comments where people received this and it was broken. Just to remind everybody, we're all at the mercy of FedEx and UPS, and they throw these things around like crazy. But it is $259, so there's a chance. Remember, it's entry-level type products here that stuff could be broken. You got to go back to customer service and then give us feedback because we don't have any affiliation with them outside of just basically working through Amazon and finding it and having an affiliate program with Amazon. So we've never talked to these people. We don't know much about them.
Right.
We just know the chair is really good. So.
Yeah, and it's like Ryan was saying, it's not on deal. We don't even know if it's going to go on deal. Even if it doesn't, this price is pretty awesome. Like if this price... If we were looking at this chair and it was on sale for $300, we probably would still be recommending it equally, right? It's still a good deal even without it, going to a deeper discount. In the past we've talked about the Tacova as a top pick. That's even lower price, but like for me personally, this would be my new pick. I also really like the other column chair. We'll talk about that later. So it's nice to see that we have some more options. For a while we were kind of stuck where we liked the Tacova, we kind of liked the Millette, but that had some problems. So now it's good to be able to recommend some little lower price chairs for you guys. So
I think the problem with the Tacova is that the expectation is that you're going to be able to use this chair no problem hit that Red Bull. You're going to be able to use that chair, a Tacova, for the entire day or longer, 12 hours a day, on and on and on. That's really not what that chair is meant for. I mean, that is probably the best to be used for maybe 3 to 4 hours max. But this chair, the Call Me chair, I actually think that this is something that you can use all day, no problem, especially if you stay within the 8-hour range-ish and you're taking breaks. This is one that will actually work for you. So you do have to pay twice as much from the Tacova, but it will hold up, and it also will actually be comfortable. So.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned taking breaks. I mean, we don't maybe emphasize that enough, but whatever chair you're sitting in, you could have a $2,000 in body. You should still be taking some breaks. Every, I don't know what you guys recommend, but definitely taking, not just like get up to go to the bathroom, but maybe actually stand, walk around for a little bit. Then you're gonna find you can hop back in that chair and sit for a couple hours and be fine.
So this looks like this is pretty much Francis's setup. We've got some really colorful stuff on the actual desk surface. What do we have on there again?
The two Logi products.
Okay.
Yeah.
Both on sale. So
so then we also have this desk mat. So I'll talk a little bit about those. So I've done a lot of research, I guess, ordered a bunch of different of these PU desk pads. So when you look online, they all basically they look very similar. When you order them, get them in person, they also look very similar. It's hard to tell them apart. Some of the differences are, to be honest, how they are delivered makes a little bit of a difference. We had some pads that came, I believe it was the Aothea brand that came and it came with all these ripples in it from the way it was rolled and stuff, and they never came out. We have that pad still sitting around the office. Those ripples never came out. We have the Yasagi here, right? Yeah. So the Yasagi is one that seemed to come flat nicely. I have a nodal pad that I just opened this morning because I wanted to just kind of test out some more, get a little smaller one. The nodal pad is one I've been using on my office desk here for a long time. Comes out nice and flat. What's nice about these PU ones is super easy to clean. Like I always have my coffee here, and sometimes you get a drip or whatever. With a pad like these PU pads, you can just wipe it up super easily. If you have one of these felt pads or like a gaming pad that has the more
like a mouse pad almost.
Yeah, it's like it's not neoprene, but that's what it feels like. That coffee's going to just soak right in, and you're not going to be able to just quick wipe it up. So even though PU pads are typically the cheapest ones, they actually have some really nice benefits. I also did all these drop tests. You can drop stuff on it, and it might show a little dent for a minute, but they kind of like self-heal, I guess you can say, where eventually that'll kind of smooth out.
It'll protect your desk surface a little bit.
Yeah.
So we got some questions here in the chat I want to cover real quick. So first one, well, this isn't a question. I think this is a statement on the Call Me chair, is that it's a little bit coarse with the mesh material. I'd agree. I know Ryan has spent even more time in this chair. It reminds us a lot of sort of that Vera chair. It has good support, good elasticity in the back, but it is going to eat your shirts. I mean, Robert's a prime example of this. Even with the Aeron chair, it has the pellicle mesh, which is, I think, without question, the best in the world. It has been eating your pants now for years, I think. And so you really can't get away from it. Some chairs are worse than others. I would say this would be a qualifier of that. Just don't wear your big floofy sweaters. Otherwise, it's going to get eaten. Would I recommend this over the Vera for the headrest specifically? Yes. If you want a headrest, the Vera chair isn't a good option because there's no adjustment to it. It is just there. And so if you don't fit it like I do, so Ryan won't fit it as well as I do, Robert won't fit it as well as I do, it's not going to be a good option, and then you just pretty much have to go without. So right. I think if you're looking at that specifically, I know you said you're 6 foot, I'm 6 foot. It fits me, but again, we could be a little bit different. So I would maybe not go that route if you want a headrest.
For sure. I think the Vera headrest is just a waste. Yeah. And just takes away from the chair. Okay,
this question for Ryan. Call Me Atlas, Hayworth Assure. I think I already know the answer.
The Call Me. It's not even close. The Assure, the only reason you would really go with the Assure is if you want to buy from a big brand and you want to have a chair for, under $300 and you want it to be from Hayworth, Miller Knoll, or Steelcase. And that's going to be the advantage of it. From a build quality standpoint, it's a pretty well-built chair. But from a function standpoint, a comfort standpoint, a fit standpoint, it's not going to even come close to the Call Me. So I would have to lean that direction.
Yeah, I think that's, 100%. I mean, that Assure chair is good for what it is. But again,
it's just super basic.
And it's crazy. That's why this is such an insane value. I mean, $259. It's pretty wild.
That Assured chair just feels small to me. Like when you look at it, it looks small. When I sit in it, it feels like I'm 6'2", so it's a little different, but it just feels like a small chair.
Small in weird ways because it's wide, but it's not tall.
Yeah, and whereas the column here, I don't feel that at all. It just feels like it fits me pretty well. Again, we're going to get to the other column later, which I also really like too, because I like the wide seat. Same with the Atlas here. The seat's big enough; you feel pretty comfortable in it. So
this is a great question for Robert because he's actually, I think, used these quite extensively. I haven't. The Uplift Motion X boards. So any of those boards that are for active standing, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I use, now I don't know if it's the exact Motion X, but it's basically the wobble board that has the big, it's almost like a bubble on the bottom.
Yep.
So I like it a lot just because, it does promote movement. I like to, for me, at my height, I have to move my desk all the way to the top. So I move my desk to the top because that balance board is going to move you up, a few inches probably. So that's something to consider if you're really tall. That balance board is going to make you, an extra 3 inches taller. So you got to make sure your desk can go up to that level. But I do like it. I can probably stay. I wouldn't probably say I'd stand on it for an hour at a time, but maybe for a half hour, I can stand on it, kind of wobble around. If you want, you can definitely stand still on it too. It's not like you feel like you're always fighting it to stay still. So personally, I do really like those. I probably lean more towards, and we have a lot of these coming up in the stream later, but personally, I lean more towards the actual topo mats. So a mat where there's no moving parts. It just has different topographic features essentially. So you can move around on the mat and kind of just feel, different. They either have little balls or they have ramps on them. So different things like that promote movement just like the balance board does, but it's not kind of forcing you to move around.
Give yourself a little foot massage.
Robert, here, I got to ask you, because you're our in-house cable management expert. If you've watched our content, not only has he set up my desk setup so that it didn't look awful. I think I had 3 computers under there at one point. You found them all and threw them in a pile. But Ryan also had a similar setup. So long story short, if you were going to buy one item, you had a $50 budget max, but it can only be one item, and you wanted to fix cable management. What's the best thing that you've tried will help anybody? Yeah. Anybody can use it no matter what their setup is.
For $50, so I really like the...
You don't have to spend $50, but that's the cap.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the thing that's kind of automatic almost is... I think it's Nacrame. I don't know exactly how to spell it.
That's from the setup we're looking at right now.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's what that was a setup.
So
the Nacrame.
Yeah. You were really hoping I said that.
Yeah. Well, I was banking on it.
33% off right now.
I love that set though. I mean, for $13, there's so much stuff.
So here's a great example. We're setting up for this live stream. I mean, you guys maybe see a little behind the scenes what this stuff all looks like. We got 3 people on mics here. We got setups. So what do we use to manage all these cables? We're grabbing stuff from those Nacrame sets. We're grabbing little clips, little Velcro ties, all these things that help in little ways. So what you're missing is a big piece that holds all your cables together. But honestly, if you're good and you take your time, you can do a lot with just that set of a bunch of clips and little cable holders. You can see on the desk right now where Colton and Francis are working, I didn't put any kind of box tray. All it is the Nacrame set. And I also added a Alex Tech sleeve on it too, which I think Colton's about to hit that on the side of the desk, which the sleeve is not necessarily, it's called cable management. For me, it's more of a looks thing. You can bundle some cables together and just kind of hide how they look. Like the white looks nice, makes it blend into the wall. So
the thing I like about that set too with the cable sleeves is when you go vertical, especially from the surface up to the monitor, there's always a miss. I mean, we have the best monitor arms, honestly, probably in the world here, and their cable management, especially from Ergotron, which I think is the best arm for the price. Just what you get is just the best built. And I think a lot of people here would probably agree. The vertical cable management thing it's terrible. It's just these little, cinched Velcro straps. I mean, it leaves everything exposed. When you put it in the sleeve, it does a really good job, which you did on my setup. So I like it a lot. All right, so one thing we didn't do was the shameless plug. I mean, we're supposed to shameless plug our own deals, and I don't think we even talked about our deals, did we? So what do we got, Robert? What are the current deals that we've got at BTOD?
So right now, we have a few coupons going on. So we have our NV15. So we've been talking about the Flexi Spot. A very similar desk, but a nice upgrade pick would be our BTOD desk. So you're going to get, just like we talked a little bit about, you're going to get a lot better service dealing with us. We're going to have a whole customer service team ready to help you. We're going to have assembly videos. We're going to have someone on the phone ready if you got a problem with your buttons not working. Anything like that happens. So you're going to feel a lot more comfortable buying from a company. You know you can talk to us anytime. So that's our NV15. You can get 15% off the NV desk. Lots of different sizes. We got, 10 different surface tops, I believe, surface colors. So
11 surface colors. I think it's 11 surface
11,
colors. And then all the different sizes. Plus, it's got a 15-year warranty, 30-day free return. So, I mean, it's everything that you would expect, and it's at that price point that you'd expect in the mid-range. Really, really good, solid desk, especially with the square tubes. You improve stability with square tubes. It doesn't have wedges. It doesn't have a cross support. It does have a ton of space underneath the desk, though, because of that. So,
yeah, we'll show that desk or talk about it even more as we go along here. So the other product we have, a MEP 20% off. So a MEP, maybe you've never heard of that. What in a MEP chair is we take a Steelcase Leap seat and we put it on a Steelcase AMIA frame. Okay, so what you're getting is the
best value in ergonomic seating.
Best value, exactly. Maybe I should let
Ryan's still hating this deal.
Greg take
It's
it away.
just so the price is just way too low.
People
for this
took
chair.
advantage of it last time during the live stream. I think a lot of people did.
Yeah.
If you go greener option on it, I think it gets down to like $300, doesn't it? It's pretty crazy.
So 20% off those right now. Again, I mean, these are, we do our tier list. We rank these seats, backrests. These are both A tier. I mean, we've all agreed that the Leap seat is A tier. If not, Ryan even likes it even more, potentially S tier.
Yep.
AMIA back, we all really like. Okay, so this is excellent chair. And again, this is a steel case chair. You're getting top quality build. So
if you're over 6'2", 6'3", though, that AMIA back gets a little bit short, so just be conscious of that. But it's a great chair under that height and for shorter users.
So listen, for the guy that asked, would I get the Assure or the Colony? 1,000% the Colony. But if I was to get the AMIP or the Colony, not the Colony anymore, because you're getting a top 3 manufacturer chair in one of their best chairs and not one of their kind of bargain chairs that's imported. So this is just a ridiculous value. You're getting such an amazing chair for under, I mean, what does the price ended up being?
It's like mid-threes, low threes on it. Plus you get 30-day free returns. It's got a 12-year warranty. I mean, it's ridiculous.
I mean, it's kind of our own doing, right? Because we hyped up the AMIA seat so much that we ended up creating the LaMIA. And then this one kind of got pigeonholed into a lesser price point because it has the Leap seat on there. But I think the Leap seat's better, so.
So another product we have is our Ultimate Cable Management Box. We're going to show this more as we go along in the stream. So we talked about our Nakrame set, which is a lot of clips, smaller items. If you need that larger box to hold all your cables, power strip, I think in my video I called it a Wi-Fi splitter, but it's actually an Ethernet splitter. I put that right inside my box. You can just put a ton in these things. They're showing us right now. So
someone asked the question. Sorry.
No,
someone asked the question. I see that they're asking if you should get the Tacova still. I mean, come on. It is, I think it's like $119 right now. I see it says $130, but it should be $159 with like a $40 coupon code, which has been pretty consistent. I mean, if you only have $120, I don't know if they're...
It's still without question the best chair for under $150 and potentially under $200. I have one other chair I might throw in there, which is a different Colony chair. But for $119, which this chair is consistently sold for now, it's without question the best value in office seating in the world, in my opinion. If you walk into a Target, you are going to spend $90 and you are going to leave with the cheapest leather chair in history. It's going to have 2 adjustments. It's going to fit 4 people out of 100, and you're going to be able to use it for 30 minutes. You spend $20 more and you get the Tacova, which is packed with adjustments. Like Greg said, you can't sit in it for 8 hours a day. I mean, you could. If you took breaks and you really needed to make it work, I think that you could. It would probably wear out within 2 years just because it has a lower end build. But it's $120. That's $60 a year. So it's still an incredible value, and it's still half the price of the Colony. So yes, I would still recommend the Tacova all day.
All right, 3 minutes, and we're giving away our first...
What are we giving away?
In 3 minutes, first giveaway. Robert is the keeper of the giveaways.
And I believe it is, Yeah, the chair we were just talking about. So
What a
we are going
coincidence.
to
Which
give
one?
away an Ameep chair.
Oh.
So.
That's
perfect.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah, so do we want to tell them what they need to do, or we're not quite ready?
Oh,
to
we're not
start
quite
that?
there yet. I think we're
Okay.
pretty close though.
So yeah, just hang out a couple minutes. We're gonna do that. Like we said, we're gonna do giveaways about every half hour. So hang out with us here, and we're giving away Ameep chairs, combo, desk and chair together, and some of these cable boxes like I was just talking about.
There it is. The last thing we forgot to talk about is the comfy
Francis wants
life.
us to talk about the
Ryan,
footrest.
this is in Ryan's setup, and he was
Listen, it's a decent footrest. I wouldn't use it on the hardwood though, because the stickies on the bottom don't do the best job of making sure it doesn't slip around. But on a rug or a carpet, I think it could be really good. Obviously, don't wear shoes like we're demonstrating. We're in an office right now. You know, this is meant for your home. It's meant to be with your socks on. But I think it can be pretty good. It is gonna raise your level because it doesn't let your feet sink in and you can't kind of push in. So keep that in mind. Your knees are going to go up quite a bit, so you're going to need to raise your chair. Make sure that your desk can accommodate for that.
So we talk about footrest as a great option if you are a petite or shorter user. Would this be okay? Like as a footrest, like let's say my chair doesn't go low enough, could this fill the gap, or wouldn't you recommend something that's padded?
I would 100% recommend a footrest for everyone. I use a footrest. Greg uses a foot. Greg is 6 foot tall and uses a footrest. It's just, it really, really helps you to not only stay ergonomic, but kind of change the positioning of your feet so you don't have constant tension on your shins or on your calves, however you kind of position your legs. And so I think a footrest is one of the most underrated tools in office ergonomics, and I think almost everyone should have one.
Yeah.
in my situation. I use that at home, and I like it as the rocker format for sure. But I also work in a basement, so it's a little bit chillier down there, and I don't want to wear shoes, so that keeps your feet a little bit warmer. It's comfy. So I had something that was a little more firm. I didn't love it as much barefoot, so I think these are really great for home. But you know, they're pretty inexpensive too. What do they even sell for right now? What's the deal on that?
40% off? No, that's not right. Sorry.
This is one of
$40.
the few that was actually not on deal yet. Normally
20% off. 20%.
Oh, it is 20.
Just
Oh,
hit.
it kicked in.
Just
Holy
hit.
moly.
Just hit.
What
Literally
timing?
wasn't there when we said it when we started this
I
morning.
checked this about 20 minutes ago and it wasn't.
Yeah.
So that's amazing.
Yep. And it's available in a few colors. There's gray, black, and then that looks like they got a navy one. We've got the gray.
Yep.
It does have a cover that you can remove from it. I don't know if anybody's ever removed their cover of anything and tried to wash it and then put it back on the thing.
It's not
Wouldn't
fun.
recommend it. It doesn't.
And there's actually there's more of these.
Shrink it a bit.
It
these
doesn't.
coming too. So there's actually probably footrest we recommend even more than this one, right? Coming up. So they might be a little more expensive, but we're gonna like them
It's
better.
it. Here we go. All right, we got to get some legal stuff out from Ryan. We're about to do the first giveaway.
Special terms and conditions. No purchase necessary. In order to enter this sweepstakes, you just need to be over 18 years old and reside in the continental U.S. because that's where we're shipping them to. In chat, you need to type !win. Capitalization does not matter. No space. And then you'll be entered in the contest, and we will choose a winner at random once the timer hits 0, and I think we're going to go 5 minutes.
Going 5
Going
minutes.
5 minutes. So get into chat right now, !win, and you will be entered, and in 5 minutes we'll choose someone at random, and you will be getting an Ameep chair. That's pretty sweet.
All right, we got some people.
Ooh, a lot of wins in
Let's
there.
go.
It's good.
Let's go. It didn't let. It won't let me.
All right, so I'm going to just quick tell you our other deals going out. We talked about the Ameep. We talked about the cable box. We also have a combo that we're also having on discount. Our percentage for that is 20% off. So 20% off is both the Envy desk and the Ameep chair together. You're going to get 20% off that combo. So
I'm going to do some live stream stuff here. We got a little technical issue. Bringing in the pro.
Getting some behind-the-scenes action on the live stream. On-site tech support.
yeah, just making sure our giveaway's working. So yeah, let me check. I'll check what other questions we have here. I know we've had a few come in.
Yep.
Let's see. Okay, so someone asked, here's a good question. So just talking about, we're talking a lot about brand new office chairs, buying them on Amazon, wherever, we got asked, what do we think about buying secondhand office chairs?
Well, it'd be weird if we were against it, since we do refurbish high-end chairs. So we are 100% fans of it. I think that you just need to kind of do your due diligence and make sure that you do a little bit of research depending on how much money that you want to spend, because you can get chairs, leap chairs for under $100 if you're super savvy and really patient, willing to look in the right places. Might not always be the best deal, but then you can also go run all the way up to the gamut to be just getting, return authorized chairs that have been used for a couple weeks and they're basically brand new. So I think it's a great thing to consider, especially in today's age with the way that the kind of economy and the market is and everyone's trying to save money. I think we all would love to have, a Herman Miller chair for 50% off, which is what you can do in the used market, and even bigger discounts if you're willing to really kind of hunt, hit up Facebook Marketplace, go check private listings, things like that. We see a lot of postings like that on Reddit where someone, even in something like a dumpster or next to a dumpster, they'll see a Leap sitting there that they get for free, and they just have to clean it up and buy a parts repair kit, and it's basically a refurbished chair that they got for free. So I think that the secondhand market is a lot bigger than most people understand. Yeah. And I think that if people knew that there's almost as many or more used chairs sold than new chairs, you probably wouldn't have kind of the stigma that some people have towards it. I get, buying used, it's someone else's chair that they've used for however long. But if you get one that's refurbished or you put a bunch of time into cleaning it up, I think it presents an amazing value. So
yeah, just kind of check reviews, check what other people are saying about the companies. I wouldn't focus even as much about the individual chair reviews. It's really about looking up who the company is that's selling the chair, because are they going to be consistent? Because even some of the companies that are going to have some lower priced secondhand chairs, you might get lucky and just get this gem of a chair that looks beautiful, and it just happens to be a 2020 chair that no one sat in, and they got it in and they just sent it right back out, and that customer is super lucky. They're going to be really happy and absolutely love their chair. But that same company might also be getting a chair, like how old, when did Aeron start? Classic came out?
1994 was kind of when they first started shipping.
So you could get a 1994 Aeron, or you could get a Classic that's, 20 years newer, and you don't really know what you're going to get all the time. So that's where making sure you're buying from a company that you really trust, that that, okay, whatever I get, I'm going to be happy with. I'm not going to just get, whatever they happen to have around. So,
and if you don't want to go with a company to try to save even more money, just watch some videos, educate yourself on what the chair should do, what it looks like and sounds like when you do make adjustments, how much the chair should be moving, and just make sure that the chair you're looking at does those things. Maybe give it a little sniff test. If it is smelling like it was soaked in Febreze, maybe pass on that model and move on to the next one. But yeah, I think there's a lot of value there. So I wouldn't give up on the used market for sure. How we doing on the sweepstakes? Nice. Yeah. I was gonna say, I got the stopwatch going on my phone here. We got to be coming in close.
So another question we had, do we have a video on the AMEEP? So we've talked about the AMEEP in several of our tier lists. We've also recommended it in some other videos for price points. I'm trying to think of the exact videos.
Yeah, what type of video are you looking for? Like adjustments or just a review? Or because the adjustments are just going to be the exact same as the AMIA. Yep. It's just going to have the Leap seat there, but they do the same thing. And then from a comfort standpoint or an adjustment standpoint, we've talked about it in tier lists, so we can definitely point you in those directions. We just kind of need to know what you're looking for.
Yeah. It's a great suggestion, really. It's probably a miss on our part that we could do more content on it just to show more about it. Another quick question, unless you're ready, Greg. Should I keep going?
Yeah, just keep going. You're good.
Yeah, so another question we got, any good aftermarket AMIA headrests? I think I know the answer, but I'll let Ryan start here.
I haven't found one.
Yeah.
Truthfully, I don't know some chairs just aren't designed to have a headrest, and that's why they don't come out with a headrest, and that's why the headrest on the Leap is so trash, because the Leap was designed to be a chair without a headrest. And then Steelcase got so many people asking for a headrest that they just kind of put one on there. And that's why it is the way that it is. It's flimsy. It doesn't do much. It kind of just pokes your head forward. They had to mount it all the way down to the middle of the chair because it wouldn't be able to be anchored at the top because the top is meant to be so flexible. And so that's why the headrest on the Leap just isn't a well-designed headrest, because it wasn't designed to have one in the first place. The Mia is the same way. I just wouldn't put a headrest on those chairs. If you really want a headrest on a Steelcase chair, then I'd go with the Gesture. You could look into, getting a Herman Miller chair and throwing an Atlas product on there. The problem is that most people aren't super educated on headrests and why you would want a headrest, and that a headrest isn't really necessary for a chair to be ergonomic. And that's why so many of these high-end flagship brands just don't have headrests on their chairs, because you don't really need one for a chair to be ergonomic. We don't need a headrest with almost anything that we do in our lives. We don't use a headrest when we walk around or ride a bike or whatever.
Ooh, first winner, Mr. Bean wins the first chair. So, nice. Mr. Bean, you got to hit us up at marketing@BTOD.com. Let us know your information, and we'll get you that AMIP on the way. All right, we ready to kick it off to the next setup?
We can jump right in.
Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean doing work.
It's huge.
Okay, so we're going to go through our next setup just to give you guys a quick update. When we hit 10 o'clock, we'll have another giveaway for you guys. So here we go. So we have our first setup. I don't know if we said this earlier, was more of an entry level, was lower price points for basically all the products. We're going to step up to more of a mid-tier, okay? So this is basically everything on the setup's going to be just a little step up from where we were just at. So starting off with the BTOD desk, okay? So this is just, like we talked about, tons of options on this desk. It's going to have the I'm blanking on the term, 3-stage, right? So it has, it can go lower and it can go higher than a lot of the 2-stage desks. So if you're really want your desk down low, now I know it's not just for people that are shorter that they want that lower desk. It's also if you want to, like for me personally, I work on top of my desk. I don't use a tray or anything like that. So I like to get my desk nice and low, keep my arms really flat. So I like that desk that can go down to 27 and a half or so, which a standard desk height is going to be 30 or so. So you want to be able to get down low. Also goes, what's the height on this? 48 is it? Or
yeah, no, actually a little bit higher than that. I think it goes to 49.
Okay, so that's going to be great for if you're, 6'4", 6'5", you're probably going to be good. So really great there to be able to have that full range. So Envy desk, again, we got this on 20% off right now. So BTOD Envy, or is it 15? Maybe someone can.
Just gave away the farm.
Did I just give away the farm?
Yeah, I think you
Ryan's going to, he doesn't like if we go too deep on these. I'm sorry. 15% off on the
Still
Envy,
a killer deal right
Envy
now.
15.
For sure.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's the breaking point where Ryan kicks us out of the stream if we go too far. So
if we go 20. You can get it if you get the combo, though. So if you go our combo 20, then you get the Envy desk and an AMIP chair. So if you want to get them together, then you can get that 20% off.
What does that bundle cost? Do we know what that bundle is together?
I'll
look.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the bundles.
Yeah, you look. So I'll keep going with the AMIP chair. So we just talked about this a lot. So again, Leap seat with the AMIA backrest. I love this chair. Greg said that if you're getting taller, then the AMIA starts to get maybe out of your range if you're over 6'2". I'm 6'2". Personally, the AMIA backrest is perfect height for me. I've never had a problem with it being too short. So you do lose a little bit of the flexibility that you're going to get in the Leap backrest, but still very comfortable. And again, that Leap seat has tons of flexibility. So you can really, especially that front edge, maybe Francis can kind of show how that front edge just really bends down. You're just not gonna get that in the lower tier chairs. So this is awesome. I mean, I
got a pretty serious question because I feel like this is a serious spot. We're talking about ergonomics. We're talking about getting your body right, making sure everything's good. Is it a huge miss? Because I was called out this morning for not having a mustache, but technically I do have a mustache still. So I feel like this is kind of ridiculous that I got called out.
I actually thought this was a serious question.
Yeah, me too. I was like, did I misspeak?
It is a serious question.
I also perked up like, what's this going to be?
Yeah, that's what it was. And I have to ask because the community knows better than others in the room. So we need to hear that.
I mean, it's tough. I mean, the mustache is there, but it's not, when
Does a
it's
mustache
fade into
change the
beard.
ergonomics of a chair? Yes or no?
Okay.
Let's hear about it in chat.
Let's hear about it in chat. I know that a mustache gives you a lot of power. That's a fact.
Okay.
Yeah, that backrest on the AMEP or the AMIA core chair, it's flexible, but it's not as flexible as a Leap chair. I mean, it has good flexibility. I think the way that the lumbar is designed in the actual back itself gives even more flexibility within the backrest. But if you want to do that patented Ryan move where you kind of stretch back and flex around. Sorry, the mic cut out there because I was too far away. But if you want that, then this might not be the chair. Then you want to.
Someone told us what that was in the last stream. The Russian twist.
Oh yeah, the Russian.
Yeah, Ryan's
twist.
patented move is the.
It's not
the
even
Russian
my
twist.
patented move. Someone was like, "That's the Russian twist." You got it taken from me. So, yeah.
Yeah. So other parts of this setup, we have the Ergotron LX monitor arm. So this is really a very high end, in my opinion. I love this monitor arm. It's not going to hold the monitor behind, it's not behind me. It's on a different set right now. It's not going to hold your 49-inch, the massive ones, but you could easily go 32 heavier monitors, but just check your specs to see how heavy your monitor actually is.
Robert, pretty serious here, though.
Yeah.
There's a couple questions that came in the chat around my mustache and around the
very
beard.
serious.
But then there was an even more important question. They said, where's the cameraman with the mustache? That's a great question, and I think we're going to need to figure out a way to get him on camera. He's got a pretty serious rig today. I don't know how we make this happen, but we need to see him. He needs to be seen.
He simply just needs to walk in front of the camera. It's not earth-shattering technology here.
That's right. That's right. Here he comes. Look at this. That's what I'm talking about right there. Yeah, he is committed to the mustache. I agree. I failed
The
him.
stream selfie.
So would that arm hold the LG Dual Up? It's a pretty hefty monitor. Do you know how much that weighs?
Yeah, I was just
Although
going to check that.
it's just a vertical. It's kind of like a 38-inch widescreen vertical.
Yeah, basically. We'll have to, maybe behind the scenes, we can
well,
check that Dual Up weight here.
Strong. Wow,
Looks
you're getting a lot of love over there, Colton.
Yeah.
Getting a lot of love. I'm getting all the hate now.
Ergotron is a brand that you can trust the specs, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, as long as it says that it'll hold the weight, in our experience, it's definitely going to hold the weight. And they err more on the side of caution than not, whereas the cheaper brands won't. And that's why you don't necessarily want to have a monster monitor on a $29 monitor arm, because they might say it holds 40 pounds.
Yeah.
And it might for 5 minutes, but
Yeah.
then it won't. That's the problem.
You always love coming home when you see your monitor face down on your desk.
But Ergotron's known for doing it the right way.
100%.
Yeah, so I'm just going to keep going on that. So this monitor arm is actually not on sale yet, but I fully expect that this one, later in the week, I would keep checking it. It's 154 about right now. This one went down for big deal days. I think we keep watching this one, and we're going to see it go down. Even if it doesn't this week, just keep an eye on this one because it does fluctuate in price a good amount and just super high quality. It looks really nice. It's the one we picked for this set because this is our set that we do all of our videos on, and we wanted it to look really clean, everything white, matching white colors. So that's so it's good looking enough that we picked it for a set that's going to always be in our videos.
In that, that is the same arm, well, very close to the Amazon Basics, right? Which now it still isn't available to my knowledge, which makes me think that they have pulled that from Amazon.
Yeah.
I don't know why else they wouldn't be selling it, which would have been probably the best deal in monitor arms, which is why so many of you bought it. But
like a patent issue, or Ergotron was distributing to Amazon?
they were, yes, exactly. They were distributing, and they were undercutting Ergotron's price. So I imagine this is, just my opinion, but it feels right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So without that available, this is the one we would recommend here. This LX.
That's actually our recording station too. So
that is
we trust that workstation very much.
Yeah, and this actually, I don't know if we got a shot of this yet, but it looks like it maybe it can be a little sloppy back there, but I should maybe work on some cable management. But what we have here is a B-Link computer that we actually connect to the back of this. So it's adding some extra weight on that arm, but it definitely is able to handle it, no issue. You can change the tension on the arm to adjust as you add weight to it.
Funny thing though.
Okay.
I said last week on Friday, I said the B-Link stuff's on sale, so you got to buy it. And Robert responds, "That's what I have at home." And I was like, "What? No, really?" Yes, that's what I have at home. And you love it, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I've had it for about a year. I probably got it actually during Black Friday last year, and no issues. We don't have any links right now necessarily to send you, but I'll tell you what, the B-Link gets complicated when you're ordering. None of us here are necessarily great at computer specs and everything, so I had to do a lot of research. Actually had John here, the guy working our control board, help me out because he knows the specs a lot better. There's tons of options. These go on really good deals. So again, you got to know what you're looking for, whether you want like Ryzen or you want an i9, and that's about as technical as I want to even get. But we have had a lower, I would say a lower spec'd out B-Link that's been on this recording computer for, I mean, it's been there, at least a year or two, probably a year and a half.
Yeah.
Really, we don't have issues with it. I know we kind of joke about it's not the most powerful machine, but it does the job. So if you're looking for something that's just like, web browsing, a little light duty stuff.
Most of our audience is pretty good with this stuff. Everybody in the
Better than
community is
us, I'm
way
sure.
better than us, which is why you don't really hear us ever talking about it,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
we don't know that much about
But
it. So.
what I really like is, I love how it just hooks. I mean, mine's just hooked up behind my monitor. You would think I don't have a computer. It's hidden up there. So that's a pretty cool thing.
All right, what do we got in here for questions? Will you?
Yeah, let me look at what else you guys.
There we
have
go.
questions.
There we go. RC here hits way above its weight class, so that's what I'm talking about. Maybe we're not that far away. Does the Fern have sufficient lumbar support without the added lumbar? This is my first ergo chair, and I'm not sure how to tell if I need it after a couple of days of sitting in it. Coming from IKEA trash. Well, I agree that IKEA is trash. I don't like them at all. But Ryan, I think, is a better person to ask that question.
The problem is that's kind of just a personal preference thing, right? Like, I prefer the Fern without lumbar, and for me, it has plenty of lumbar support. But I see a lot of comments on Reddit, and I know from the preference of these two that they would prefer to have the lumbar in there. And I will say that the lumbar system on the Fern isn't like hard or pokey. It's a really cool design, actually. It's just a, why am I missing my word? It's like an airbag. And so it is soft, and you can kind of even push into the lumbar. But for me, it's just a little bit too aggressive in terms of increasing the curve. So I just didn't like it as much as removing it. But a lot of people do like it. And I think that I might be in the minority of people that would prefer to use it without, just based on feedback I've seen out there in the general public. But I think the lumbar is a nice system. I'm just kind of sensitive to aggressive lumbar, so I prefer to go without it. But if you're using it without it right now and you're feeling like, man, I could really use a little bit more, that's probably the choice to go with, would be my opinion there.
Yep. That's fair. I do love it. I mean, I love the lumbar support, but I'm crazy aggressive with the lumbar. That's why I like the Ergo Human chair, even like the LE9 ERG, which is probably the most aggressive lumbar of any chair, would you say, that we have in here, except for maybe that crazy one with the red, whatever that.
The kind of gimmicky ones.
Yeah.
The Isker, those super gimmicky ones are stupid crazy, but yeah. I mean, just also for perspective, I use the Leap. I've been back in the Leap now for like 2 months. I go through these cycles, and right now the Leap is my number one chair again. But when I use the Leap, I turn the lumbar all the way down, so it's the least aggressive curve, and then I remove the pad entirely. So I'm using the Leap with the least amount of lumbar support that you could possibly have, and I love it. So I may not be the best example of what you should be getting in your chair if you need pronounced lumbar support, because that's not me. You'd probably want to get a chair that Greg or Robert would like from our tier list when they comment on the chairs they like for back support. I would probably go with their opinions over mine for this one.
What else you got in that setup, Robert?
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff. So we got, let me just start cranking through. So another deal that just showed up, I think this morning, right, was our Keychron deal. So Keychron, this is not the exact one I have at home, but it is the exact same model. It's the K4. So what I love about this, Francis is kind of showing there, you can set it up for either PC, Mac. There's also settings. You can do Bluetooth, cabled. If you have Bluetooth, you can connect, I think, 2 different devices, plus you can have one connected via cable. I always just personally, I keep mine plugged in via cable just to keep away any kind of lag, latency. So I love this keyboard. It took me a while to get used to. Oh, check it out. I just remembered, I don't know if we're on my camera here, but here's mine from home I brought in. I like to show off my nice keycaps here. So again, just like with the PC stuff, I'm not an expert, I'll admit, on everything keyboard, but I do like I picked the different keycaps more just for looks. You see a lot of the K4s and the gray's fine, but I just wanted something more kind of classic. So these are EPO Maker. This exact color, I believe, is unavailable at the moment, but they have lots of different stuff to kind of personalize, makes it match my desk setup. So K4, it's a good deal today. Let me see what the percentage actually is. Still 20% off. That just popped up today, dropping it down to $64. That is for the, excuse me, not the aluminum frame. It's a little bit stepped down model, but to be honest, I just talked about this in a video this past week. I don't know that the aluminum frame really makes a big difference. And, personally, mine has the full RGB lighting. I almost wish it didn't have it because what happens, and some of you can, I'm sure, know what this is like. I walk in and I got all this crazy glowing lights because my kids have been playing with the keyboard and they know how to change the lights. So I wish it was just white. Otherwise I always have to go changing it back. So great keyboard. Again, if you're into mechanical keyboards, it takes a little adjustment period, but I do like that a lot. So I'll keep burning unless you guys got
going.
something. So I actually just got a Red Dragon wrist rest. I just got this over the weekend. I wanted to test something out. Someone just commented in our videos about the ergonomics of a mechanical keyboard that has the little taller height. And it can be a little bit of a problem because your arms are going to be at more of an angle because those key crowns are a little taller. So I got that wrist rest to kind of test out what it would be like to have a little bit of support right under your wrist. So yeah, Francis is showing there. It definitely does lift up your hands. So the Red Dragon is discounted right now. It's not a huge discount. So there's a lot of these wrist pads. They're kind of it's more like I would just go for what you like the look of, try to find one that matches the right width of your desk or of your keyboard. But it's 20% off. It's down to $11. So it's pretty cheap. The quality of the materials, it's okay. I expected probably it to be a little nicer, even though, for $11, my expectations were probably too high. But I was thinking maybe it'd be a little more premium. So I don't, it's fine. Again, if you can always order it. If you don't like it, just return it. But so mouse on that setup, we have the Logi G703. I haven't used this mouse a ton. It's, does anyone use that more? G7 or G703 mouse, Logitech, it's 10% off right now.
I've been pretty much just using the standard MX keys stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's been kind of my go-to for sure. So that I love it. Once I switched, because I was without question the person who had the cheapest mouse in the office for the longest time. And once I switched to these, man, it's just so much more comfortable. And I click a lot. I'm always clicking. Yep. Super clicker, they call me.
Just going to jump in. I saw someone comment that asked about the Delta Hub Caprio or Carpio wrist rest for your mouse. So the same time I bought that pad, I got one of these wrist rests as well. Haven't had enough time to really test it. What I found is that it feels great when you're lined up and you get on that wrist pad just right. Did Francis just bring it in? Perfect. So it does feel really nice, but what I found is that if you lift up your hand and then try to kind of reacquire your mouse, you're not going to always land in that perfect spot. And then it was kind of annoying that I wasn't landing. It might just take some practice. I know Nick, our sales manager, he really likes this. So, and he's had it for maybe a year or something. So it might just be a thing where it takes a little time to get used to that. But are those on sale? I'm not sure I don't believe that Delta Hub is on sale. Let me check for you right now. But again, it's a product that is very good chance that will be on sale this week. I would just keep checking it. If you're interested, you can always test it out. If it doesn't work out for you, just send it back. So yeah, what else we got on this setup? How much
the
time?
highlight of the setup is that ball in this list?
Oh yeah, here we go.
Because every time that I record videos in here, I cannot. The first thing that I do when I sit down is I enclose myself in, obviously with the soundproof walls, And then for some reason, I can't resist picking that thing up and just like crushing it down to pieces. I don't know what it is, but that thing is just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's irresistible to play with for a
So
couple minutes before I record.
Specs fidget toy is what it's called. 30% off right now, down to about $21. This is like one of these things where, like, if you tell me it's $30, I'd be like, is this really worth it? You know, but like, you know, 30% off, $20. Okay, it's actually surprisingly fun to use, and like Ryan said, you almost can't like not pick it up. Like I do the exact same thing when I'm recording audio. It's like I have to like at least like fidget with the thing for a minute. You know, I know Josh here, other videographer, loves to do different formations. He's known for coming up with different things, so he's loving that we're talking about. He's probably judging what Francis is designing over there right now.
What is Francis designing?
All sorts of things.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the pineapple. It's pineapple design, and I actually did that and put a golf ball on top. So yeah. So again, does it really serve a purpose other than being kind of a fun little fidget? Not really, but it is cool if you like to have little stuff on your desk to mess around with.
Gives that white setup a little pop of color.
Yeah,
too.
exactly. And there's lots of different colors, so you can match whatever your stuff.
That's that fidget toy action.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I as much as it's seems a frivolous, if that's the right word, I think it's worth it because it is kind of fun to have on your desk.
So what do you think of that boom arm that's on there?
So this is definitely, so we have so here's a boom arm that's our roadie, trying to get confirmation.
It's Rode.
Just Rode. Okay.
I'm sure it's just Rode.
Which is a little higher end mic mount arm. These are maybe $100. So where I'll get to the Samsung in a second. About $100. That's Samsung on the
Not
set over there.
Samsung.
Samsung, like the strong man.
Let's just cut to the chase.
Okay.
I bought the Samsung stuff, and I got a lot of crap here for all of it. So I think it works better than the mic that I bought. Let's be honest. The Shure mics are the sure way to go.
Yep.
That's my first pun for the day. But I think, and should I keep going? Because I know I got some good ones.
I have a question with the boom. Was it a design choice to use the Velcro straps on the arm?
Yes.
And okay,
They do come
that
with
is
those,
my
yeah.
biggest complaint with that arm, because if you Velcro strap the way that it usually is when I come in here, I grab the arm and I pull it towards me, and it snaps the Velcro straps apart because it creates a gap in between the arms that's wider than the straps. Is that purposeful, or what is that? So so this is user error.
we're putting too
so
much
I just
straps.
called out our team.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, so
Wow.
on live stream, mainly Robert. He's the wire.
You know, I don't
management
like
guy.
to see loose cables, so I get this
So
stuff
we're
all
just
tight,
gonna
you know?
Velcro the entire boom arm.
Is this the one downfall of Robert's obsession with cable
we go.
management? As he
We've
locks us
located
down,
it.
we can't even use the stuff we have.
So my one complaint
looks
isn't
good.
even a complaint with the arm.
Right.
Got it. Perfect.
All
That's
right.
actually
But the
better for you
Samsung,
guys.
just to finish what I was, even though it's only about $40, this is on sale right now. We just dropped the link. I wouldn't say it's like that much. It's not half as good as the $100 one. So if you're willing, or if you're wanting to save a little money on a boom arm and you're not going to move it around a ton, Samsung's not bad.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And the gadget that we have on the end of the mic,
yeah, that's a pop filter.
I'm sure a lot of you know what that is, but I can tell you with the amount of content that we do here at BTOD, that has helped significantly with me always using the P sound and making it awful in the audio recording so that you guys actually want to watch that stuff.
I recently got a comment that they wanted me to make one out of Aeron mesh, which I
saw
thought
that
was
one.
pretty cool.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Which, I mean, unfortunately, that video, I apologize, had maybe a little more pops in it. Sometimes we get a little too close. But, yeah, so pop filter, we don't have necessarily a link, but those are, if you're doing a lot of recording, you guys probably already know pop filters are huge, can help with those plosives. So, yeah, that was Francis's probably recommendation here. She is testing it out for us over there.
So we're going to do another giveaway here in about 3 minutes, and this time it's going to be #win. So #win. Robert, what are we giving away? And then, of course, we're going to have to do the legal stuff here in a second, but what are we giving away on the second one?
So we are going to give away a cable management box. So we were just talking about cable management. There is one on this setup right now.
The white one.
And what we're going to do for this, since these do come in different sizes, different colors, this is what we did for our last setup. You kind of let us know what size desk you want. I know it always seems like, sure, it'd be great to have the biggest one, but it's not necessarily going to fit on your desk if you get the biggest. So this is Like this box is made for that's a 48-inch desk. So yeah, you just reach out to customer service. We're going to send you the desk or the cable management box that fits your desk. These boxes are amazing. I mean, I have 2 of them on my desk at home because I have a big L-shaped desk. I put one on each, going each direction. I load that thing up, tons of stuff, and once you kind of set it, you can just leave it there basically, and you don't necessarily have to go in and out of it. If you do need to go in and out of it, there's a front panel, removes the whole thing, so it's easy to access whatever's inside. So yeah, we kind of have it turned to the back. You can assemble them either way, facing the front of the desk or the back of the desk. For this setup, we want to face into the back so it hides even more stuff. You don't see that opening. If you know that you have access to the back or you won't have access to the back of your desk, then you want to flip that around, have it open to the underside, the front of your desk, so that you can easily just kind of crawl under and fix it. So yeah, so giving one of those away in about a minute.
Let's hit that legal stuff, Ryan.
The sweepstakes, folks. No purchase necessary. In order to enter the sweepstakes, you need to be over 18, reside in the continental U.S., and this time we're going to type #win in chat. Capitalization does not matter. No space. #win. And at the end of the 5-minute countdown, we will choose a winner at random. And then just reach out to us and we'll get it shipped out to you. One thing that I do think we should talk about with that cable box is probably the biggest complaint or negative feedback towards the box is, why is it so expensive? Do we want to talk about what you're actually getting with this box and why it's more expensive than the other wire management solutions out there, and why you might want to invest in something like this over some of the cheaper alternatives?
Yeah. Should I take it away? So you're getting powder-coated steel. It's a lot of material there. So most of the boxes, you'll get like a $50 trays, let's just say. They're going to be open for the most part with maybe like a kind of a L or J shape. So you're getting a lot of material there. You're getting it from a company that you can trust, that you're going to have a warranty on it. So that's a big part right there. Return policy. If it happens to come damaged, again, we're a little bit at the mercy of FedEx sometimes. So that you're going to have that good customer service. And the functionality is just awesome too. So it's about the materials, it's about the company backing it, it's about the functionality. I know I'm going to sound super biased here, but if someone can show me a box that has the same functionality and basically quality as our ultimate cable box, I'd love to see it, because I have scoured Amazon, I've scoured websites. It just doesn't exist, so you can't even compare this with anything else, because there is no box of that equal value. So, and honestly, I'd love to see it. We, as you guys have seen, we buy, test whatever stuff we can find, basically. So if you can find one for me, I'll get it and I'll test it out.
It kind of does all the things too, right? Like the size of it is a big factor in the price, not only because it's so big that you can fit everything in there, but it also is a lot more expensive just to ship the thing than a little plastic component that ships for $2.99. So there's a lot of weight to this box. It is a good quality box. It's got multiple ways to feed the cords in, and they're covered and they look clean with the kind of the rubber spacer guards there. And so everything on it is going to be high end. And like Robert said, it comes with a good warranty from a company that you can trust. And so, yeah, it is expensive, and we understand that, but it does provide something that's not currently out there right now, and it isn't cheap to produce or cheap to ship. So it's not like we're making, a 100%, 200% margin on this thing. It's priced just like all of our other stuff. It's just a more expensive product, and that's why it's priced that way, but certainly worth it for those of you that need a higher-end wire management solution. We doing this giveaway yet?
Yeah, I think we got about 1 minute left,
1 minute
and then we're
countdown.
going to be ready for a giveaway winner.
So one other thing, if we're waiting a minute here, is that we have, so if you look on Amazon, you're going to find a whole bunch of products that are about 17 inches long, because that's kind of that must be their shipping cutoff. I don't know what it is, but you're just, to Ryan's point, it's expensive to ship these big, long products. So that's why Amazon or even most websites, you're not going to find these big, long cable products. Everything's going to be short. If you want like we have these little cable channels that you run across the wall. They're always going to be short, and then you have to piece them all together because they don't want to ship you this. They don't want to ship you a 5-foot long anything. So that's why these cable products are always going to be small. They come in like 2 packs. They come in 3 packs because you have to piece them all together. Now, maybe you're much better at assembling than me, but it is very hard to line up these things perfectly. You're always going to have a little bit of a crack, and that just, if you're kind of a perfectionist, you like things looking nice, the big one-piece box is going to be where it's at. It's going to look so much nicer. Just matches the frame of the desk. So, yeah, ready to give away.
Ooh, dropping it in the chat right now.
All right,
coming in hot.
So let me throw in another question here, Ryan. Maybe you can
before you do. So Mako Ray.
Oh,
but
yeah, that's
here's
our
the
winner.
thing, though, like Robert said in the beginning, is what you have to do is let us know, number 1, what the size is that you want. Number 2, we need to know the color. There's 3 different colors, black, silver, white. And then, of course, we need to get your information, where to send it, and you can send that to marketing@BTOD.com.
Yep. There he is already.
Woo! Let's go.
Awesome.
But to be getting cable managed like a pro, that's your number 1 tool in your toolbox, Robert, is that cable management box.
Yeah. It's literally like a toolbox.
Yeah. It is a toolbox.
So I just want to hit a couple more questions here. I know we're really due to get to our next set, but interested in buying a refurbished Leap V2 chair from BTOD. I'm paranoid about bug issue. I don't know if that's big issue, bug issues, what we saw. Does the steaming process of BTOD take care of that?
Yes. Yeah, 100%. And I think the other thing, too, is that you go through that steaming process. There's a cleaner that's on there as well as it comes through the process. And then on top of that, you're basically taking off all the old upholstery. We've got new foam in there as well underneath the pad. I mean, it can go through. You can do the sniff test. Well, I'm on a video sniffing a seat that's pretty rough. If you've seen that video, I have no problem with the new chairs. They smell like new. They're awesome, honestly.
Yeah, that's one thing where a lot of us, in the building draw the line when Greg's like, "Can you sniff this chair for me?" It's like, I don't know. We'll let him do that job of smelling.
No one's taking that job from me?
No, not really.
Wow.
Another question just came in here. Both you guys are going to have maybe a little different opinions. Looking at some of the Black Friday deals, I'm a tall guy, 6'4". Would you recommend the Gaming Embody or the BTOD Lamia from us?
I mean, I guess I have a hard time commenting because I'm 5'9", and so I from a personal standpoint, I can speak to what I've heard out there and experience of others that are tall. I'm not sure that the Gaming Embody. Listen, the number 1 problem with the Embody for tall people is that it kind of folds your shoulders in. It might be less on the Gaming Embody, but
I don't think it is, personally. I think it's just a matter of how you pitch that back up.
Yeah.
And if you want to have that back nice and upright, which I like to have my back set that way, you'll notice it right away. If you're okay with it pitched back a little bit, then I think you'll probably get away with not having any issues. That's my personal opinion at 6 foot tall. So
yeah, I agree exactly with what Greg said there. At 6'2", you have to pitch it back a little bit.
Yep.
And I think I don't know if the new one helps. Maybe it's more just a mental thing that there is a little more pad there that might makes you forget about some of that. But it definitely is there either way. So at that height, I mean, personally, I sit in a Lamia. I'm super comfortable. Height, definitely not a problem. 6'4", you definitely would fit in a Lamia, no problem. So
this is kind of the biggest difference between Herman Miller and Steelcase just in general, is that Steelcase designs chairs that are much better for a wide range of people. Yep. There's very little reason to not like the backrest on the Leap or the Lamia. It's tall, it's super flexible. The most glaring weakness on it for some people is the lumbar, but it's also its most attractive feature for some people. It's just a much better rounded backrest for a wide range of people, whereas the Embody can be either the most comfortable backrest you've ever used or unusable. And that's how a lot of Herman Miller chairs are, especially the Aeron. So I don't know. I tend to lean towards Steelcase if you're on the fence and trying that first. And if you like it, cool. If you don't, you can send it back. The problem is that returning chairs now with these big brands isn't the way that it was before. Now that Herman Miller is charging for shipping and charging to return chairs. Yeah. So we're probably going to have to start recommending people be a little bit more conscious on what they're buying first, because it's a little bit more of an investment now. You can't just try 2, 3, 4, 5 chairs for free anymore. They're putting in these stoppers to kind of prevent that. So
yeah, and with the Aeron, they give you the different sizes, so you can get the A, B, or C that matches your body. They don't do that with all the chairs. Like I always say, you know, if they made the Cosm in an A, B, and C, and I could buy a size C Cosm, that might be one of my favorite chairs, but they don't. It's just you can't adjust the seat depth, so you're just kind of stuck with that.
Well, they either make it not adjustable, so they need multiple sizes like the Aeron, or you just can't use it like the Cosm because it doesn't have seat depth, or they put it with a bunch of adjustments, but then you have the problem where it can't be adjustable enough for everyone with the unique style that they're using. So,
all right, I got to do a shameless plug here again. We got to keep the lights on, so I got to run through all the BTOD deals. So coupons right now, NV15, so our mid-range standing desk that we have is 15% off with the coupon NV15. That's in all the sizes and configurations. A MEEP 20, so if you didn't win one, you can also buy one at a huge discount, 20% off. It gets you down in like the mid-lower 300s, 12-year warranty on that thing, 30-day money back. It's a pretty awesome deal, fully refurbished. We've got the Combo 20, so 20% off if you pair the MEEP with the NV desk. It's going to be 20% off Combo 20. Cable Management's box, which we just gave away. We're going to give another one away here in a little bit. That's going to be 15% off, so that coupon is Ultimate 15. And then the big one, the big one, the desk I use at home, it's the S series from New Heights. It's the best of the best of the best. I made this thing because, well, I wanted to have something that was unlike anything else, basically. Buy it for life. The warranty's forever. We deliver it assembled in your room of choice. If you don't like it, we pick it up. We give you all your money back. 365 days to try this thing. On-site serve is ridiculous, the amount of stuff. There's an 1.5 inch thick surface of solid maple wood. The desk is ridiculous, but it's expensive because of that. Right now, first time ever, S Series 20 is 20% off that. So if you are looking to get a really nice standing desk, stable, you know, premium, that's the one. So
we're giving one of these away?
No, that's not get.
Okay.
That's not get. Ooh,
Ryan's
take
like,
a deep
"Whoa,
breath.
hold on."
Take a
Wait
deep breath.
second here.
Let's go. No, it's 20% off, which is still a really awesome deal.
Yeah,
So
that's a lot of discount right there.
you buy it for life, basically. You want something to buy for life, this is the one. It's got all the best components. So, all right, we're ready to kick off the next setup, which it looks like this one is on me, huh? So we've got our first premium level product. So this is the Ergonomic. This is the Ergonomic Alive. So they have a few different options from Ergonomic. Now this is going to use a Linac frame. It's their quick connect, sort of quick assembly desk frame that they use. So assembly does need to be done with this one, but it's actually pretty straightforward. Linac, if you're not familiar with Linac, definitely one of the best when it comes to manufacturing high quality standing desk frames. And this is definitely going to qualify for that. What I really love about the Alive, because we actually bought their, I believe it's the Sway, which is just their normal wood top at the start, is that the Alive has that live edge look to it. So it's not only is it thicker than their standard surface, but it also has a really unique live edge to it. And as you can tell here, I kind of cheaped out, so I'm sorry about that. My massive 42-inch monitor looks just, well, massive on that desk. So if you have a monitor like that, I would 100% recommend going with the bigger desk, because now that I see it, it's pretty ridiculous.
It makes the
it might
monitor
be
look
slightly
larger.
Yeah, it's
crooked.
a little crooked too, but that's okay. Yeah. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's the LG C2 OLED, and that thing is epic. Once I switched to using a TV as a monitor, I can tell you that I'm spoiled for sure. But I've got it on a 60-inch desk, which, again, I would definitely recommend. They have 20% off right now at Ergonomic. So they do run sales sort of around seasonal stuff. The 20% off is kind of the best that you're going to get from them. They do have less expensive options if you just want to get something that doesn't have that Alive sort of look to it. And the price does jump up quite a bit. I think right now it's $23.36 with their 20% coupon. Again, awesome desk. That key panel on the surface is pretty cool that it's integrated right into the top. So I like this one a lot. I like the finish on the surface, and Ergonomic is an awesome company. I am in contact with them a fair amount. So, and then what else we got in there? We've got the Lumia. We've got my chair in there. I love it. So that is, in my opinion, the S. That is that is the S tier material, and that is not necessarily a real steel case chair. It's made of real steel case things, but they don't actually offer that one. So if you wanted to buy this new, you would actually have to buy 2 chairs, an EMEA and a Leap, which would put this thing like over $2,000, I think. Right now, with the way that we do it, because we refurbish it, it's $799, and then you can use our 10% coupon, brings it down to $719. But I love this chair, and the reason for it is I prefer the EMEA seat. Now, Ryan prefers the Leap seat. I like a little bit more flat design in the actual seat, and the reason for that is I feel like the shape of the Leap, when I sit in that shape for months, it's not weeks, it's months, I start to get a little discomfort. Since I've sat in the EMEA pretty consistently at work here almost every day, and then I sit at the Leap, or in the Leap at home, I don't have any issues with the Leap or the EMEA anymore with that seat pad. But the nice thing is you get the EMEA seat, plus you get the backrest, the core of the Leap, which, I don't know, is that the best backrest in the business when it comes to just flexibility, adaptability, lumbar, if you want a lot, don't want a lot. I mean, what beats it?
Probably nothing from a versatility standpoint. I mean, I would argue that the Fern could be a close competitor, but it's a pretty stark difference between the lumbar and not the lumbar, and you can't adjust it. You either have it or you don't, whereas the Leap, you can do all of it with the same model. The one thing that is, I think, so attractive about the EMEA, obviously, is the seat. The seats from Steelcase are very well designed, but it seems to be kind of consensus these days that the EMEA seat is the most comfortable seat, and typically it's because people cite the pad, and it feels softer and a little bit thicker. It's actually not any thicker than the Gesture or the Leap. It's just that shape that Greg talked about earlier is much more conducive to it feeling like you have more padding and that it's a little bit more soft. You do give up, some flexibility. It's not nearly as flexible as the Gesture or the Leap seat, but a lot of people do think that extra comfort in the padding makes up for that lack of flexibility. And so that's why this is a pretty good combo, because you're getting, like Greg said, probably the best backrest with arguably the most comfortable seat out there right now. And the armrests are always S tier. So.
I was going to say, too, I think the one thing, too, that a lot of people, and it's not that you're wrong, it's an opinion, right? Everybody has their own opinion. The Gesture's arms are assumed to be better than the Leap arms, just because there's a wider range of adjustment. Mm-hmm. But for me personally, I actually prefer the way that the arms work, the 4-way arms on the Leap. But yeah, it's true. The Gesture arms are more flexible. There's a lot of range on there. And if you want to really get them out of the way, they do go a little bit lower. But the Leap arms go low. So, I mean, it's not like you can get them down to about your leg height. You can see that. So I like the Leap arms better because they feel more solid to me, and I like the pads better. I think the pads are more comfortable than the Gestures. There's more padding there. They're softer. And so, yeah, you give up a little bit of that cantilever adjustment with, like, the mobile gaming aspect, or like Greg said, getting them completely out of the way for playing guitar or something. But yeah, that's been one of the things that people talk about quite a bit.
Yeah, and these arms, I think, stay where you put them a little better. The Gesture, if you kind of get your elbow too much on the inside, you're going to push that arm all the way back out, which this is why I also prefer Leap arms over the Gesture. I mean, the Gesture arms look cool. I think I like that cantilever look. They're kind of fun to fidget and move around, but if we're talking about comfort, the Leap or EMEA here, it has the win. The pads are super, super cush on the EMEA here.
Couple questions just came in that I got to answer. Actually, one thing that was mentioned in the chat from Nick at BTOD, he just wants to know how many of you guys are actually using standing desks. I'm curious about that too. So drop it in the chat if you're using a standing desk, if you're thinking about using a standing desk, if you got a standing desk and you hated it. Let us know. I think it's important for everybody in the community to kind of talk about that stuff. And then also, someone wants to know, 5'2", should they get the Sihu chair? Should anybody?
I can confidently say that I would probably never recommend a Sihu chair ever, unless you are in a country where the supply is so limited that you don't really have any other choice but to go with Sihu. I think I was chatting with someone from Italy, and he had a problem where he couldn't get any of the alternatives that I was recommending because they just weren't available there. And really, the only option that he was talking about was the Sihu. And so then it's like, okay, that's fine. But I don't know what the draw would ever be to the Sihu. The brand itself isn't something that you're like, oh, I have to have a Sihu brand chair. So that isn't something, and I think their chairs are really uncomfortable. Like, the seats are rock hard. Right there with the Secret Lab Titan Evo is one of the hardest seats that we've used. And the only seats that I would probably consider to be less comfortable than the Sihu chair we have is something like the Hyken, where it's like an all mesh chair with a crazy pad and a ridiculous frame that you can't use for more than a half an hour. But those Sihu chairs just aren't it for me. They're just super, super uncomfortable. And I mean, truthfully, you can get their most popular one, the M18.
Yeah, that's the one they're talking about.
Consistently for $20 less from Giantex.
I think that's a big thing right there.
In the U.S.
Right.
So, like, unless you're loyal to Sihu, then you could just get the exact same chair from Giantex or I think Duramont. So there's a bunch of different brands that sell this exact chair, and you can get it for cheaper. So if you really like that chair, get it from a different brand for less. Otherwise, I would always recommend the Tacova over the Sihu. I think it's better in pretty much every single aspect except for the fact that it doesn't have a padded lumbar support like the Sihu. But I will say that I don't even like the lumbar support on the Sihu anyways. And when I dial the Tacova all the way back, I don't have a poking sensation anyway. So for me, the Tacova is just better at everything, and it's usually cheaper. So I see no reason to get a Sihu product.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. So, and at 6 or at 5'2", I mean, there's a good chance that chair is just not going to fit.
Well, at 5'2", the dimensions are going to be weird, right? So the seat height is going to go low enough for you, but the seat depth is going to be too deep for you. And so the depth is going to be all the way up to the back of your legs. And then the armrests are going to be both too wide and too forward. So you're going to have your elbows out, and when you recline, your arms are going to be way forward because they won't reach the armrest. So from an ergonomic standpoint, the only thing that's really going to fit you is the seat height. So I'd probably avoid this one, truthfully.
Yep. Awesome. All right. What else I got? What else do I have up in that setup there? The Topo Mini, and it looks like that is the Mini, isn't it? Yep. Or is that the Mini? Yeah, it is the Mini.
It's the Mini.
Robert, you got to tell us about this because this is kind of your thing. This is your jam. And did you look at the chat to see how many people are actually using standing desks?
I didn't see the total. I'll talk about the Topo, and you can look at our poll for us. So, I talked about these briefly before. Love these Topo mats. This one's from Ergo Driven. The best deal right now is on the Mini. So, personally, I used the larger version, which we could check the discount on that right now, but I'm sure that one will go. That one fluctuates. It's more around 100. This one's about half that. So a better deal on the Mini. So what you're going to get with this is all these different, think of like a skate park where you have all these different features or basically to move around. You can stand on different areas. If you stay on the front edge, there's always a bigger lip. Then there's the big ball in the middle. If you have like plantar fasciitis, it feels really good to step on that ball that's in the middle. Some people use a tennis ball or something. This has it built right into the mat. Come in they have, I believe, black and gray. I think the gray is typically the better deal. I'll have to pull that one up again. But I really love these mats. I don't personally use a footrest very often. I know we talked about how footrests are kind of the number one thing. I usually have one of these. It's just kind of complicated to have both under your desk. So I stick with one of these, but they do have that large ramp on the front that essentially acts as a footrest. Your feet kind of sink into it just enough so that you have that padding, but also though it's hard enough that you can stand on top of it, get that to kind of push down into your feet. Feels great. Again, these are probably better recommended for at home when you can kick your shoes off, and they're going to be more comfortable when you're just wearing socks barefoot. But even if you are in an office, you could still stand on these, and it gives you some of that same features. So yeah, huge fan of the Ergo Driven. I'll check the deals here, but you have
the cool thing too about these mats, like this one specifically,
14% off,
is that they're designed to be used in every direction. So you can use it the way that she has it positioned now. You can flip it to the side. You can flip it all the way around like that, and it kind of lets you use it in various different ways and kind of feels different on your feet, and the distances change so your legs are positioned. It just promotes the whole movement thing. I know we touched on it earlier. What is the recommended amount to sit, to stand, or whatever? So Alan Hedge, the king of ergonomics, what he recommends is if you break your day up into 30 minutes, he wants you sitting for 20, he wants you standing for 8, and then he wants you moving around for 2. And that moving around can be anything from, just stretching at your desk, walking to get some water, using your topo mat a little bit, just anything to kind of engage different muscles. Obviously, that regimen's impossible to stick to for, anyone that's in some type of a structured environment. But you can see how much he wants you to be moving around and changing positions, and that's kind of what these tools are meant for, just to help you to do that.
So a couple questions about the topo here, too, I'll touch on. How are they on carpet? They do slide around a little bit. So like for when I use mine, I usually line it up so that if I'm using it as a footrest, it pushes all the way against the wall. So I can use that front ramp as a kind of a footrest. If you're just standing directly on it, the carpet, the flooring doesn't really make a difference. They're not going to move once you put your weight on top of it. Would you use it? What was the other question? Would you use it for an anti-fatigue mat?
100%.
You could, yeah. I mean, you're going to have the ramps and stuff. So if you're standing at your desk, it's great. I wouldn't stick this thing in, like we use the anti-fatigue mat in front of our kitchen sink. I wouldn't use it there because you're going to trip on the features potentially. So I would recommend a flat one there. But at your desk, definitely hardwood flooring. Put it on there, and it's going to be perfect.
One tip for that is that I would probably go with a bigger one. If you plan to use a dual-purpose anti-fatigue mat and for the kind of niche things like using the features that are raised, I would go with a bigger version. I think my favorite one was the big version of the TerraMat, because it had the nice sloped features, but the middle area was nice and big, and it was flat enough for you to just use it just like an anti-fatigue mat, and so you were kind of getting best of both worlds. You didn't have to always be standing on something that was raised or curved. So if you're looking for a dual-purpose solution, I would go with something like that. Get something big like the TerraMat or this mat in the regular size version.
Yeah, that's where the larger one's definitely better. That's why I use the large one, because I can just stand in the middle. So Francis and Colton, maybe you can hold that and show how thick it is, like from the edge. We have that cutout
in the thinnest part.
In the thinnest part. So you can see
I cut that out.
Yeah, Greg has this little cutout. Well, he purchased, like I said in the videos before, we literally have a stack of these things. We've tested tons of these mats. So that's why we know, like, we have our own preferences. I have a different one at my desk now, too, that we test all the different ones out. We check the density, see how thick they are, and that's why, this one kind of has floated to the top of one that we really recommend. And what's great is it's on deal right now, 14% off, $60. So, yeah, so hopefully you can kind of see that. I don't have a measurement necessarily on it. I don't know if you can estimate how thick it is. Thumbnail, so, maybe a half inch or so. So 3/4 of an inch.
The mustache has spoken. And he says 3/4.
And the thickness always isn't the most important thing, right? That's one thing we learned. It's the density and how it holds up, because some are a little bit thicker, but they just squish right to the floor. And others are thinner, but they don't give as much, and you can tell that they'll last a little longer. So,
all right, so in 5 minutes, we're doing the next giveaway. This is going to be another Amoeb chair, just so everybody's ready for that coming. If you've been waiting, it's in 5 minutes. We got a couple questions, though, that we got to cover that just popped up. I think this is another really good question. Hi, this Christmas, I'll be getting a high-end office chair. Congratulations. I think you're going to be super stoked because they're amazing. And I want to know, should I get the Gesture or the Fern? I don't know which one is overall better. Bless you, Robert, for sneezing there twice for the stream to liven it up a little bit. Gesture or the Fern, I don't know which one is better.
That's a tough one, right? It's going to be personal preference. The problem is you're always going to get the Fern recommendation for me for a few reasons on that Gesture. I don't love the seat, mainly because of the way that it feels like I'm sloped a little forward, and it feels like I'm kind of sliding out of the chair a little bit, which I don't like. And I don't like how the backrest feels a little bit more flimsy than other chairs in the top half. So the top half of the backrest is a little bit, I don't know if flappy is the right term, but it just doesn't have quite enough resistance. But from a chair design standpoint, it is obviously one of the most well-designed, highest-end chairs in the world with some of the most unique adjustments that you're ever going to find. And it probably has the best headrest out of any high-end chair that comes straight from the factory. So I guess it kind of depends on what you value in your chair and what you're looking for. Because for me, the Fern's going to have a little better recline. I like the seat and back comfort a little bit more. I think the gesture arms are better. You can get a headrest. I think Steelcase makes a little bit higher end chairs.
And that headrest on the gesture is excellent. So if that is like a sticking point for you, I would say that's from the premier manufacturers. If we're looking at headrests, I mean, is there a better headrest from the premier that you don't have to add something on third party?
I mean, the only one that I can think of that I actually enjoy and like is the Cosm, but it doesn't do anything.
Right. It's not adjustable. So like if you're looking for a high-end ergonomic chair with an adjustable headrest that will actually do something, I think the gesture is right there in the S tier when it comes to adjustability. So
otherwise you're having to buy like a $300 Atlas and put it on something.
Right.
So.
All right, 3 more products. We got to run through them super quick. The BenQ screen linear bar. So this is the less expensive option from BenQ, but if you've watched my content on this, basically anything light bar, asymmetrical light pattern, meaning that it's not going to shine onto your actual monitor and create glare, because I know that's a big concern for a lot of you, and it's a concern for me too. They don't do it. And it's the only brand of, I don't know, 10 brands that I've tested so far that have actually figured this out, which doesn't seem like it should be that difficult, but clearly it is. And so not only are you paying to get something that actually functions properly and keeps the shine off the monitor, but you also get probably the best built. It functions the best. Now, the reason why this one's less expensive than the Halo is because it's just a bit dumbed down version. It doesn't have a puck to it. Everything is on the actual buttons itself. But there's auto dimming feature. There's a ton of range for not only color, but dimness on it. And so I love this one if you're not looking to spend that extra money on the Halo and you don't care about the puck. But that's something that we'll cover here later as well. But this for sure is the ticket when you're looking at something that doesn't actually create glare, which is super annoying, especially if you have a high gloss screen. The other items that we've got on the desk as well are a mechanical keyboard, which is mine. So that's the Logi MX mechanical. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's not too loud. It sounds good. It doesn't distract the entire office, but I love that thing. It's so nice. And again, I came from really crappy keyboards. And then the vertical mouse, which I have never used, to be honest, because I just can't use that. I think it's the most funny looking mouse, but Robert has and has actually trained himself to love it.
I have. So I'm kind of laughing right now because that keyboard that Francis is typing in is typing in my Excel sheet right now.
Oh yeah, she's keying up. Thank you.
Apparently
That's
I'm
great.
somehow connected to the
Great.
But anyways,
she's doing it on purpose now,
maybe.
I think. Yeah.
Just a bunch of H's in case, but yeah, so this mouse, it's very it does take a while to get used to. There's a definite adjustment period to it. Do I love it? I don't know. I don't love it.
I mean,
go.
I've used a vertical mouse. I used to use a vertical mouse. I used one for a couple years from Evoluent. And the one thing, it does take a while to get used to it, right? Because you're just using the mouse in like this handshake grip the whole time. The advantage to it is that using a mouse is one of the most unergonomic things that you can do because it constantly puts your wrist in flexion. And whenever your wrist is flexed up over your forearm, you can feel you have tension in your wrist and up your forearm. And that's what creates carpal tunnel and a lot of RSI issues in your arms and wrists. So the vertical mouse is designed to kind of get rid of that flexion up, and you're just always keeping your hand forward. I actually really liked it. The only reason
it's a handshake.
Yeah, the
mouse.
handshake mouse.
Yeah.
The only reason that I stopped using it is because the Evoluent product wasn't great, and so the outside of the mouse shell just kind of flaked and rubbed off. And then when I got a new mouse, I just didn't get another one for some reason. But thinking about it, I liked it. And I think it worked pretty well, but it does take a lot to get used to.
All right, legal stuff. Sorry, legal stuff for giveaways. Ryan, let's go.
Gosh darn it.
Here he goes.
No purchase necessary. In order to enter the sweepstakes, you need to be over 18 years old and reside in the continental U.S.
Hashtag chair.
Chair? Okay.
We're doing hashtag
This
chair.
time you need to type in no space and capitalization does not matter. Hashtag chair. So hashtag CHAIR. Type that in chat and you will be entered into the sweepstakes. And at the end of the countdown, we will select a winner at random.
Let's go. It's an Ameep.
An Ameep.
It's another Ameep. Love that chair. All right, hashtag chair. Let's go. Who's going to get it this time? That's the question. Robert, I see that. Sorry,
no,
I
go
don't
ahead.
want to interrupt, but I do see that your wife was in there and she laughed at your sneezing.
Yeah, you know, she knows how it goes. A lot of sneezing. Probably more sneezing here for whatever reason, you know, especially when you're on camera. It's great to sneeze a lot. So I'll try to do some more of that for you guys. But.
I love it when he mixes it up like that for us because not everybody gets to see it. And Taylor even mentioned she misses seeing you
I know.
for the sneezes.
Like Greg just knows when we're meeting. If I sneeze once, he doesn't start talking because he just knows get the second one out. And
we wait. All right, so Q&A. We got to have some Q&A stuff in here. Everybody's entering to win, but also let us know, do you have any questions? We got a couple things that came in here.
Yeah, so one question I saw, what are we sitting in right now? I kind of wanted to jump in on that gesture. You were comparing gesture and Fern. Another chair that is kind of could be thrown in there for a similar type backrest, has the curve to it, is, I don't know if I can spin here, I'm going to get a little tight, but I'm sitting in the Carmen, steel case Carmen, has kind of a similar backrest, in my opinion, to the gesture, where it does have more of a contoured shape. It kind of gives you that hugging feeling a little bit, even though it is a mesh chair, which typically is not going to have that more cozy feeling. So I absolutely love the backrest in the Carmen. We've done a couple of videos now talking about the Carmen, and that's definitely its best point, is the backrest. Earlier we were talking about best backrests in chairs with flexibility. Carmen's one I would throw in that mix as well. Doesn't have a headrest though, no headrest options at all. So if you're looking for that, it's out. Seat on the Carmen is a little small, so that's kind of my problem with it. At 6'2", it's too small of a seat for me. So that's what I'm sitting in. You guys want to run through your chairs real quickly?
That I'm sitting in, like,
yeah. Well, someone asked
this
what
one
we're
right
sitting
now?
in right now. Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm in right now is just going to be the standard Embody. This version is actually quite old at this point, maybe 4 or 5 years old, and I think there's been a couple updates made to it. But yeah, just standard edition Embody. There's not a lot of adjustments or things that you can change when you buy it. This is one of my S-tier chairs.
I'm sorry, but the best comment of the day came in. The best comment of the day right now. Sneezing accentuates the jaw muscles. Rob's ripped. Fact.
Just ripped in the jaw area.
If you would commit to that mustache, so we've got something awesome going to drop, I think, in a week. It's a mustache tier list, and we all committed to a mustache. You're going to get a first look at Robert with a mustache. It only accentuates that jaw. He is shredded. And just so everybody's on the same page, it's Rob with 2 B's here at BTOD. So awesome comment. That's so funny. Do we like reviewing chairs for a living? I mean, my back likes it, that's for sure. I get to sit in all of the best chairs, honestly, in the world, and I do late night scrolling for chairs on Amazon. So yeah, it's pretty much amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the big things people complain about at a workplace is that they don't like their chair or they're not comfortable where they are. So to be able to always sit in a super nice chair, we're definitely spoiled. But what's great is, you know, we have. I mean, we've shown videos of our room. We have a room next door to us here. It's got, I mean, how many chairs are over there? Over 100 for sure. So
150.
Yeah, so
plus.
150 chairs. Right now, where I'm looking, I can see about 25 chairs. So we have so many chairs that you're able to just sit and test all these different things. That's why we get the knowledge, the experience we have, that we can see it. So. You know, when we talk about, like, oh, I've been sitting in this for a while, but, you know, it's not to, like, try to, you know, brag that, oh yeah, we get to sit in all this. And sometimes
I do.
Yeah,
it's always a flex for me. It's a flex, honestly.
My point is, I guess we don't want to come off as like, oh, we get to do it. You know, it's more like, you know, we've spent this time so we're able to help you guys, and I do sit and embody a ton, or I sit in the era on a ton so that I can compare them, talk about them. So it's pretty cool.
I'm going to be honest. I think that Robert keeps us grounded because my head gets like this big because I sit in all these chairs. I get all the best chairs in the world, you know. Yeah. It is what it is. And Robert does keep me grounded. But Robert has like 7 chairs at his house right now because he works from home in a hybrid format. And so he's kind of flexing a little bit too on his family, I think, when he has all those chairs at home.
A little bit.
Yeah, and your wife doesn't ever get to use those chairs, I've heard.
Well, occasionally.
Okay.
She really likes the Carmen, I will say. So
does she?
As a chair, and my mother-in-law and my mom both liked this chair a lot. So
it's a good size for females.
Yeah, definitely. So we talk, obviously we're 3 guys. We talk a lot about what chairs fit our bodies and everything, but so that's why it is kind of fun, have them over, be like, hey, check out this. You want to sit in this, see if you like it. And I've also noticed that my they do like the Leaps as well. So it's another chair that fits a lot of different body types. Carmen has that short seat, so my mother-in-law, and my wife are all shorter, so they can fit very comfortably even in the smaller seat.
Oh, your wife said 7 only, so
7.
yeah, you might have he might have more chairs than we know about.
I also have
stashed at
all
home.
the F-tier kitchen chairs. We got
Oh,
6
come
of
on.
those. So,
That's funny.
yeah.
All right, we're going to roll the giveaway here, and let's see who's going to win this one. This is the Ameep, and it looks like it is Fabian I'm going to mess this up.
Quintanar.
Quintanar?
I wonder if he has a Quintus light bar.
I see what you did there. Yeah. All right, so make sure that you hit up marketing at BTOD.com. Let them know where to send your Ameep chair, and congratulations. You're going to love it. It's awesome. Let us know, though. You got to drop in the chat. What are you currently sitting in so we can see how big of an upgrade you're going to be making with this Ameep?
Yeah. All right, I think we're good for our next setup here. Maybe, John, you want to give us 20 minutes on this one? Is that possible? I think we're getting a little... Okay, so we're going to go about 20 minutes. We'll stop at 11 o'clock here for our next giveaway. So I think this one's Ryan's to take away.
What do we got? Entry level number 2?
Yes.
So this is going to be quite the drastic change from the ridiculous Ergonomic Alive desk we just saw, which is one of the nicest desks in our office for like $2,500. This one's opposite end of the spectrum. We're going under $200 now. Headlining this one's going to be the mono price, and we've got a 47 by 23 inch desk here. And this is going to be, like I said, really low price. Normally priced at $279. Today it's on sale for $179.99. So a sub $200 standing desk. Oop, we're a little high there. It's into the shelf. Showing off the range, though. So this is going to be one of those things that you're going to get just to get the job done, right? It's not going to have the most premium features, not the most premium columns. The work surface is going to be a little bit thin, and it's not going to be the most stable desk, but it moves up and down, and it doesn't move super slow. It's not super loud. It does what it's supposed to do, and so for those of you that just need a height-adjustable desk and you need something entry-level, this can certainly be a good option for under $200.
Yeah, and some of the things like, okay, we just showed what happens if you don't have a container stop feature.
Right.
I'm guessing the mono price doesn't.
They probably couldn't see what was happening.
Mono price does, actually.
It does? Okay.
Yeah, but it can be it might be turned off, and there's different sensitivity settings on that one. So that's actually one of the reasons why I like that model quite a bit, because it was the only one that was from FlexiSpot in that price range. Well, not Flexi, sorry, Loctech. Got to make sure I get this right. In that entry-level price point that actually had collision avoidance that worked, and it had multiple settings to adjust it. I think that switch looks really nice, too, by the way.
Yeah. So $100 off on Mono Price's website right now, $180 down from $280. So, yeah. So what else we got over there? You want to talk about the column right away, or?
Yeah, we can get into the chair. The chair for me is going to be the highlight of this setup. Yep. I'm just really becoming a fan of this Calami. I don't know how to pronounce it yet. Maybe we'll have to reach out to them and figure it out. But
maybe they should reach out to us.
Yeah, maybe they should.
If you're watching, you should reach out to us for sure.
We've got 2 of their chairs in here, and both of them have become 2 chairs that I could make as my best picks for a certain price point, right? So this one is normally $199, and right now they've got their sale going for 20% off, which brings us down to $159.99. So this one's going to be in that Tacova territory. You know, do you choose something like this or the Tacova? And for me, it's going to be very different experiences with these 2 chairs, because the advantages of this chair is that it's very well built for the price, and that's not what you're getting from the Tacova. That's the disadvantage with the Tacova. So the Kieran chair, which Francis is in right now, feels really solid. All of the adjustments feel smooth. It actually feels like it would last quite a long time. And so that's what you're getting out of this chair, a well-built chair. It's also going to have more adjustments than pretty much any chair that I've found in this price range. The seat slider alone is something that we do not see in this price range, and you've got a big range on this chair, adjustable lumbar like she's showing, 4-way arms, a good seat height range, and it has locking positions. Another thing that I really like about this chair is going to be the seat, because it's got a really good pad. It feels nice and soft, but I never felt like I was bottoming out in the chair. and it has good dimensions. So it should fit a wide range of people. It doesn't have any hard edges. There's just a lot of good things going on with the chair. If I was going to pick some downsides, again, it's a sub $200 chair. So while I highlight that it is well built, it's well built for this price point, right? So it's not going to compare to a $500 chair or even the Atlas that we showed earlier, but it's certainly much better built than any other $200 chair I've seen. And then I don't love the recline on it, just because it has a little bit of that kind of hip thrusty recline. And for me, it kind of pulls my lower back off the backrest when I recline. And I don't love that feeling. But that's kind of one of the only downsides, that and the lack of a headrest. So if you really need something with the headrest, I'd go with the Tacova. Otherwise, I'm a big fan of this chair. I think it's one of the best values out there right now in office seating for under $200. Not a lot to go wrong for sure. So
yeah, so someone asked about, is it just the ink gray one? So this wasn't originally like this on their site, but now they've grouped 3 chairs on the same page, the same Amazon page. So if you click on ink gray, you're going to get the Kieran chair. If you go to black, it's like some totally different chair that we haven't tested. To be honest, it does not look like a good chair. That does not look
good. We are not recommending the all mesh chair in the middle.
Or the other chair. Yeah, just stick with that ink gray one. That's actually your Kieran chair. So $159.99 is what it is on the site right now. That's 20% off. So this chair, to me, is possibly better than the Atlas. I know I'm maybe the only one in the office that feels that way, but I love this seat. It's really wide, like Ryan's was saying. It has nice padding to it. The backrest, super comfortable in my opinion, has a nice curve to it. I actually think that the lumbar is better on this chair than the Atlas. Again, a lot of these things are very opinionated, but that's where I'm at with this one. I think it fits me really well. It does lack some of the things. It doesn't have the nicer looks that the Atlas has. It doesn't have a headrest, so that's, might be a breaking point for some people too. But when we're talking about $150 chairs, for me, this is the obvious answer. I wouldn't personally even put the Tacova close to this, but they just feel like much more expensive chairs than what the price is.
It's kind of a cool chair because it looks like a Lino or a Hog Sophie. And the funny thing is that I might actually rather sit in that than the Lino, because the Lino doesn't have seat depth adjustment. The seat is really firm. Yep. The arms are almost rock hard, and it's got, I don't know, not necessarily that much better of a recline or backrest to beat this one. So
yeah, we just filmed a video where we're going to run through all the Herman Miller chairs, kind of just giving opinions, and that's I say the exact same thing. I said I wouldn't buy the Lino. It's what, $600? I think that's the sale price, is maybe $600. Because I think this chair is just as good. So I would stick with the Kieran chair here.
And by just as good, we mean just as comfortable. It's definitely not as well built.
That's true.
We don't want to put that out there.
Yeah.
It's not a Herman Miller chair from a build or warranty standpoint or anything like that, but it can compare somewhat in looks and comfort. So.
Yep.
So, all right, so a couple things I got to run through here real quick. So, unfortunately, Mr. Bean is in the UK. He mentioned in the chat, and so he wasn't eligible. So, we're going to rerun that one. Just what are the legal things again on it? I'm just going to rerun it from what we have if you want to jump into
No purchase necessary. In order to enter the sweepstakes, you need to be over 18 and reside in the continental U.S. Type in
#chair.
#chair in chat to enter. Winner will be chosen at random at the end of the 5-minute countdown.
We're going to run that right now. So in 5 minutes, that will be up. And then another question actually came in. Robert, want to know how that chair, did you mention the 6'4", how that chair would fit the Kieran chair? You're the tallest one here, so
I felt very comfortable in it. I've been ready to stretch my legs. Let me go sit.
He's gonna go jump in there, and then while he's on his way over there, I gotta do the shameless plug again because we gotta keep these lights on. So we've got some coupon codes here at BTOD. First one, NV15. So the NV standing desk, it's our mid-range standing desk. It is an awesome option if you've somewhere in the mid-600s, 15% off with NV15. The Meep chair, which we've been talking about a ton today and been giving away, a Meep 20 to get 20% off there. The Combo 20, so that is the NV desk plus the chair, the Meep chair. That's going to be 20% off in that combo, so Combo 20. Ultimate 15, if you want a cable management box, the Ultimate Cable Management Box is without question the best that Robert's tested, and it's expensive, but you pay for what you get. Right now, you can save 15 if you use Ultimate 15, and then the S Series 20, so that's 20% off the most expensive standing desk we sell, but it's also the best standing desk we sell, and it is a buy it for life product. So, Robert, you're in the chair, 6'2", what do you think? It's tall back.
Seat goes plenty high. I remember that with the Kirin. The seat dimensions are better on the Kirin than the Atlas. The Atlas actually doesn't go quite as high as the Kirin, so that's one thing to think about.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe you could see me stretching around in the backrest, because that's usually the problem too with tall chair or taller people, that the backrest might be too short, especially with a mesh frame, because a lot of times the hard frame on the top of a mesh backrest will dig into your back. I don't have that problem at all. I feel like I had tons of clearance. Seat depth is wide enough, so. Was it 6'4", someone was asking? Or
just, yeah, 6'4" is what we got.
I don't think there's any problem there. Yeah.
Perfect. All right, moving on. What else do we have in this setup? Or are we doing the...
Well, we're getting close to doing the giveaway here. We got 2 more minutes.
Okay, so we can keep going.
That's the Xiaomi light bar? All right, Greg maybe knows a little bit about that one.
I know a lot about the Xiaomi because, well...
Are we pronouncing it right? We've been called out on this one a few times.
Well, here's the thing. Even if I'm saying it wrong, I just got to commit to the bit,
right.
And I'm going to keep calling it what I call it. So you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I apologize for that. So Xiaomi it is. Now, I think the one thing about this product, besides the fact that it has the puck, which I absolutely love, it doesn't have a proper asymmetrical light pattern like I mentioned on the BenQ. So if you're worried about that, that may be a problem for you. But it does have a puck that operates all of the controls on it, which I love. And the reason for it is because you don't actually have to touch the bar. When you touch these bars, a lot of times if they're not hooked or latched on properly, they move. They kind of pivot. They fall off of the actual monitor or pitch down. It's super annoying. So I love the puck. It's not as, I guess, intuitive as like the BenQ Halo that we're going to look at here in a little bit. But I think if you are on a tight budget and you want to get into something like this, this is it for me. I don't think there's a better option personally. You just have to be okay with the asymmetrical light pattern. So, or lack thereof, excuse me. Robert, what are your thoughts on it? Because I know that you like the Quintus brand.
Yeah, personally, I really like the Quintus. I think we'll show that on a different setup here, but they're pretty close, I think. Personally, I like to keep my desktop as super clean as possible, like nothing on it. So that's why I actually don't prefer the pucks with the light bars like the BenQ we talked about earlier. I would prefer the BenQ without the puck. It's like $50 cheaper, and I don't need that extra item on my desk. Greg's definitely right, though, when he talks about how when you touch the buttons, you will sometimes bump the monitor bar and move it out of place and stuff. So there is a little downside there. Personally, I still would take the lack of a puck and just have that the touch controls on the monitor bar.
We got a winner. Denho.
Here we go.
Denho is the winner of the AMEEP. So again, hit us up, marketing at BTODtv.com, and let us know where we're shipping this to. Congratulations. You're going to love the chair.
You guys are in quite a riff about whether or not you want the puck or not.
Yeah, I just assume that Robert just hasn't spent enough time with a puck to know what he's truly missing out on. But I think if you went to the lifestyle with a puck, he would know.
I mean, Ryan's the hockey player here, so would you prefer the puck?
Honestly, the only light bar I use is in my office. It was installed for me. All I do is turn it on every morning and turn it off when I leave, and it does the job for me. I don't even know what light bar it is. So,
I think that's the basis, which is we can't find that.
It's funny to me because like there's so many comments, critiquing so many things about light bars and asymmetrical lighting and whatever. And for me, I'm like the most basic. I don't care about any of that. I just like that I just have a little bit more lighting on my keyboard and my desk surface. Whether it's shining on my monitor doesn't glare in my office, so it's not a problem. So I can use lesser expensive light bars, and I think it's great.
I mean, but is it a game changer, though? Because honestly, just that getting that light where you want it is...
For me, I can't... I mean, it's part of my... It's first thing I do when I come in. So, I like having it there.
It sets a nice, it gives you a little atmosphere. Or I don't know if
ambiance.
that's the right word. Ambiance, yeah. So you kind of it sets your space. I know everyone's a little different about this. Some people like the more bright, open. I like to keep my lights a little lower and then have that monitor light bar that shines on the desk. I'll talk a little bit more about my setup at home when we get to the Quintus, but it definitely, that's the advantage of it. It just gives you that space. I don't do a lot of like reading necessarily or anything like that. I really use it more for that ambiance.
I constantly have notepads on my desk, and I'm always writing notes. And that's the extent of really what I do from that perspective. But just getting your eyes adjusted properly, getting that lighting where you need it. And then on top of that, like in my basement again, where I do have proper overhead lighting, but like Robert said, there's times when you're at home and you just kind of kill the lights a little bit. It's awesome because it still lights up the space. And then I do have that secondary lighting behind my monitor, so it's pushing up against the wall, so it's a really nice combination for sure. All right, so Robert, you are the cable management whiz, and you've got a product in here that Ryan hasn't used, that box on the floor. So I think when people think about boxes and cable management, this is probably what most people think. So tell us why this is good and why it doesn't necessarily do what the cable management box that we, shameless plug, Ultimate 15, there's a 15% coupon code for the premium one. What are the differences kind of between them?
Yeah. So, yeah, you can hear the loud plastic noise. But so I obviously I'm going to talk about or promote our box, which I love. It's big. It holds all this stuff. I understand that it doesn't work for everyone, partly because of the price, partly because some people just can't drill a big box on their desk. So for people that have situations where you want to have all your stuff running down to the floor, this is an option. You can fit a pretty good sized power strip in there. It has openings so you can run your cables in and out. It has a little bit of venting to it. So yeah, kind of Francis is showing. You could fit a lot of stuff in there. If you have cats, animals, kids, I could put those all in the same group, I guess. But anything in the house that might be damaging or messing with your cables, this groups them all together, keeps them a little tighter so that first of all, it looks cleaner. It's also just safer not having all these loose cables. Again, I love to get everything up on the top of the desk, but for people that's not really an option. If you have a glass top desk, it's going to be you can't screw anything into it, and adhesives doesn't always work great. Or, if you're in an office setting and you're not allowed to drill something into your desk, this is a great option. Bring everything down to the ground. Now, one thing I would potentially pair with this is if you have a lot of cables, especially like power cables, you can run a sleeve on the outside. We have our Alex Tech sleeve we talked about earlier. It groups those all together because otherwise you're going to have, if it was my setup, I'd have 6-7 cables running from the top of my desk down to the floor.
It doesn't look great.
It does not. So you can group those together, making it look a little bit more like one solid unit. The Alex Tech, they're not huge. So there's other vertical products. One thing I think we also have on this setup, does this have our Vivo thing? I think over on the other side.
The magnetic channel?
Yeah, so these are little magnetic channels that I've showed in some videos. Just snaps right on the side of the desk. You got to have a steel frame for the magnet to work. And what it does is it just kind of helps guide your cables. Now, these are probably better if you just have a standard height or, not a adjustable desk because so you can just have your cables running through as the desk moves, your desk is not moving in that situation so that routing thing works great. Now, as Francis moves the desk, if there's a lot of cables in there, that magnet's sometimes not quite strong enough to hold it in place. But again, if you have a desk that you're not moving, just a standard height desk, single height, you're going to really like these kind of channels that can run your cables down, keep them close to your desk, organized. So, that Vivo product comes in black and white. Super easy. You just snap it right on the desk.
Is the whole thing metal or just the part that snaps on?
Yep, just
all
metal with just a little strip of magnet.
So I like the other thing, too, about that cable box that goes on the ground. I don't know. Maybe I'm so concentrated in the chat here and making sure everything's kind of moving with what I'm looking at that I may have missed this. But I have a dog he's a year and a half old and he still likes to chew everything, and he's constantly trying to electrocute himself with cords. So he's gone and chewed up, I think, like 5 of my charge cords for my Apple iPhone. And this is a great product for my desk at home where there's cords on the ground those are the ones that he goes after. I don't know what it is, but they're right there and he loves to chew them. So if you've got a dog that chews or a cat, maybe they're usually smarter than dogs. Cat peeps out there. I tell you what, it really would help prevent my cables from constantly being chewed by my dog. So, wow. And by the way, I've now found another solution to not lose any more cables. So, all right, what else we got in this setup, Robert?
So K-Trio desk pad, that's more of like a gaming style pad where it's has really smooth movement for your mouse. This is down to $15. Usually they're $18, so a few dollars off right now. Again, with a lot of these pads, they're all, most of them you're going to see just a couple dollars off. But you know, if you're ready to buy or you've been waiting to buy one, it's a good time Black Friday, get a couple dollars off. I think Frances actually uses this one on her desk here at the office. So it again, if you really want that nice smooth glide, the downsides are, you know, of spills or whatever. That's where I like the PU pads. They're a little bit easier to clean. But if, you know, control and glide of your mouse is important, obviously for gaming is going to be the biggest thing. But even precision work like Francis, videographers doing editing videos, you want to be able to be real precise grabbing stuff, or if you're doing some kind of painting type thing in Photoshop, you want to have precise stuff. So it's nice to have that glide. All
right, I was just told, Robert, we gotta start another giveaway. This one is the cable management box again.
No purchase necessary. In order to enter the sweepstakes, you need to be over 18 and reside in the continental U.S. Type
hashtag chair.
Hashtag chair.
We'll go with chair again, yeah.
You'll be entered automatically, and we'll select that winner at random in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, don't forget, there's 3 colors, there's multiple sizes. You'll just have to let us know at the end which one's going to fit your setup best. But hang around because we've got, I think, what do we have? One more chair, and then the big combos at the end?
Yes, so yeah, you're right.
All right, so we've got one more after this one. We've got one more Ameep chair, and then the final is an Envy desk, which you guys have probably seen. This is an awesome mid-range desk. You get that plus a chair. So that's the big giveaway. Ryan didn't know about that one. Now Ryan does. I'm sure he's super stoked. You guys will be stoked because that's a kick. I can't swear on here. We'll get kicked off YouTube.
Butt.
Kick butt setup. That's a kick butt setup. If I had my mustache, I would definitely have sworn. I just don't have the power anymore. All right.
So, yeah, want to maybe catch up on a couple questions?
Let's look at some chat. What do we got?
So, thoughts on the Hayworth Very gaming chair?
It's not any different than the regular Very. It's just got that leather seat, right?
Yes.
So I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I was literally saying this week or last week that I'm not sure that the Very should even exist, simply because I don't think that it's any better than the Soji. So it's tough for me to recommend this chair because it's not any better than the standard Very, and I don't think that the Very provides enough value to justify the price increase over the Soji. You get a little bit better armrests, and you get a more advanced tilt system, but that tilt system may be a downside to some people compared to just a standard synchro tilt like the Soji. So I'd have a hard time recommending any version of the Very because I think that you should just either save money and get the Soji, because I think it's almost as good, if not better, or you should just pay a little bit more and get the Zodi, which I think is A tier for sure, close to S tier depending on how I spec it out for me specifically. Yeah. So
I think that's a very good take that you had on that one. Honestly,
finally found an opportunity.
I had to. It's been sitting there, but I think he's spot on. I mean, I don't personally really enjoy I don't think the Very is as comfortable as the Soji, but that's my personal preference. But you're paying a bunch more,
a couple $100 more
for a chair that's arguably really not any better in my opinion. So it's hard if you want that Xbox sort of game edition. I mean, you're going to have to do what you're going to have to do, right? There's no going around that. You're not really getting any additional comfort that you can't get on the standard Very chair, though.
Yeah, I mean, the Zodi is not that much more expensive. It's about the same, actually, with the digital knit even right now with their sales. So to me, the Zodi is the very obvious pick. That's going to be much better than the Very. I kind of forced myself in a way to sit in the Very a little longer because I've done the different picks for mesh chairs and mesh chair tier list, and I couldn't stay in the Very chair. What I found is that I sink through the mesh too much, and I hit that outer frame on the sides, and it's just, to me, it was like almost unsittable because of that backrest. Zodi does not have that issue at all, even though, you know, you'd think they'd be more similar. They kind of look similar, but they're very different in how they've done that mesh tightness essentially.
The Hayworth chairs are like it's like Goldilocks, right?
Yeah.
You've got the Very with the super loose mesh, and you sink way in and feel the entire frame, like the side frame, the top frame, all of it. And then you have the Soji, where the mesh is a little bit too tight, but it's better to err too tight because then you don't feel the frame. It's just doesn't let you sink in quite as much as you would like. But then the Zodi is the best of both worlds because you sink in just enough for it to be soft and cush, but you don't feel the frame, and then the frame's flexible. So, yeah, I would avoid the Very unless you're die hard into Xbox and you really want that.
1 minute to go. #chair for the cable management box. I realize that makes 0 sense, but #chair for a cable management box.
So good.
The classic.
All right. Any other questions we have here that we need to catch up
This
on?
person, Brian Reinhardt, got a Very at Goodwill for $10. I mean,
For $10. I mean, that's
yeah,
amazing.
that's the deal of the day. I mean, yeah, I mean, you're not gonna
you buy that every time,
right.
and then you stash those like Robert stashes BTOD chairs. at
Listen,
home.
we're talking about spending hundreds of dollars and whether or not you should spend $700 over $600. If you can get one, if you can get a Hayworth chair for $10, I don't care what chair it is. If it was from 1990, it's probably worth it.
Yeah. I don't have as many chairs at home. This one was from my house. I brought it back.
Allegedly.
One less chair.
But your wife is in the stream chat, and she is saying that there is
A plethora
More
of
than
seating
7
options. At
All right.
their house.
We're going to hit this. Let's see.
Picking a winner.
Yeah, so we're just working on getting some more setups ready for you guys. Any other questions, just let us know about chairs, especially if you've seen them in our videos. We got lots of time in these to give you our opinions. So
We got a winner, and Shaimum, is that how we say that? I apologize. I still can't say Xiaomi properly, so maybe I shouldn't be the person saying these, but Shaimum, Sharir?
That's butchered. We're doing our
Sharir?
best, though.
well,
Apologies.
congratulations.
But you did win a cable management box, and I apologize for that. So let us know. Marketing at BTOD.com.
Should we paste that in there so that like he
It's in there.
knows? Okay.
He can see it. Congrats. Absolutely congrats. Super stoked for you. You got to let us know. Marketing at BTOD.com. I know Taylor's in here and she's doing all of this as well, but make sure you let us know size and color, and then of course where we're shipping it to. And then let us know. Did you have anything for cable management before? What was it like? Are you using a standing desk? Give us a little bit more information on your setup. Drop that in the chat. All right.
Yeah.
You got any more chat? Any more
just
chat
kinda checking.
questions?
I saw someone just bought a Xbox Very. I mean, again, the stuff we're talking about, it is opinion based, or you might end up loving that Very chair, and obviously we hope you do. But and aesthetics is definitely a part. It's always a tough one because aesthetics are so subjective. So we talk about it some, but we don't go too deep into it because it's just our personal opinion. So, like I think that this Carmen chair is just probably the coolest looking chair, but how much does that really mean? Well, that's up to you, how much you value that, so, but I definitely wouldn't blame anyone for buying a chair and looks being a high factor.
It's so interesting too with these chairs. So like the Carmen chair is an example. I think Robert would really like that chair a lot more if it had two things. Number one, that the arm pads were like the other Steelcase 4-way arm set, where the pad itself was very similar. It's not. It feels cheap. Honestly, it just feels cheap, which goes against the rest of the chair. And then number two, the depth of the seat for him. His legs just don't fit on that chair. And I don't like mesh chairs, so if you consume a lot of our content, I typically don't give high rankings for mesh. It just doesn't work for my body. I love that chair from the mesh perspective and how the seat feels, because that's always been a deal killer for me. But that's personal preference, and then size, matters so much too when it comes to fit. I think that if you fit in that chair, though, it could be a really nice alternative to something like an Aeron chair, which obviously is the cream of the crop when it comes to mesh chairs.
Yeah. So a good question just popped up while they're still getting our next sets ready here. What items have you added to your desk in the past year that have been a game changer? I was just talking about it for a while here about the topo mat to me, that is a huge game changer. If it encourages me to stand more, which is just important. You know, I have a standing desk, but a lot of times you just don't feel like standing. But when I have that topo mat at my desk, it actually makes me like, oh yeah, I'll stand. It feels great to, you know, move around on there. So for me, that's maybe my favorite thing that I've added in the last year that just kind of improves the whole setup. I know it's not technically on the desk, but it's on the setup. So anything for you?
Yeah, I think so it'd be around the last year. I know I started using the light bars. I mean, maybe it's been about a year now that I've been using light bars. That's probably one. The other thing is I went with a TV as a monitor. I mean, that LG monitor is incredible. So I can have everything on the screen, no issues, and it's pretty amazing. It gives you vertical space and it gives you the horizontal space to really load up your screen, which I do, and it keeps everything kind of front and center. Now, it might not be for everybody. I don't do a ton of gaming on a computer. I do game on an Xbox. You know, I play on that thing, and it's pretty incredible. It's got, I mean, compared to what I've had in the past, it's a huge upgrade. Ryan, what's one thing that you've added or have changed about your setup that you really like in the last year?
That little blue thing that you put on my desk. What's that little thing called? It like holds my
management
charger cords by the edge of the desk so that I don't like lose them to the back every time, and I don't have to like go fish them out of the darkness of what my cables were. And now they're all like stuck perfectly at the edge of my desk, and I can just grab it from there. I can't remember.
So those are the Anchor. Well, are they the Anchor ones? Or the
Anchor
blue color. So Anchor magnetic holders. Maybe we can find a link for that. But yeah, they're super nice. I mean, those are another item where it's like kind of like that fidget toy or whatever, where it's like, man, why is this? It just always seems too expensive. So now's the time to buy those because those always go on discounts.
How much are they?
Always has big discounts.
How much are they though? Because they'd have to be like $100 for me to feel like that's too expensive for the amount of like frustration it has saved me from like dropping a cord down the grommet hole or dropping it off the back because it's always just clipped right there.
I want to say they're typically $30 for the 2-pack. So you get 2 holders.
That's
and all
not
the things.
bad.
And then it goes down to, I think, 20. Again, I could check. I got
Definitely
it right here in front of me. So, so 20% off right now if you want to get the single pack of so just one holder. So it's down to $12.80. So yeah, that's pretty good. You really, if you just have a normal desk setup, one of those is probably gonna be enough. You could put 5 cables in it. So
is that do you think that Anchor product is listening in on the things that you're saying at your desk?
Well, that's the concern, of course.
Yeah, but probably not with that product. That
Probably
one's safe.
not. I think you're okay with the cable holders that they're not going to be listening into you. But those are definitely. I mean, that's a product we'll talk about. What's that?
He doesn't know.
Oh, this is a thing that Anchor has had some
issues
with.
Do some research.
You'll people's stuff. So.
But this is a product that's.
I think you're okay with. I mean, the magnetic stuff in there.
I could see this being a good product for a home desk too. Like I should have this at my home so that my chargers don't leave from my kids and they could just walk up and plug all their stuff in without them stealing my brick and my cord. I swear I've bought like 20 charger cords and I have one at my desk still because they just disappear. And if they were locked in with those things and they could just come up and it'd be perfect. I might order some of those when this stream's done for myself.
Yeah, or by your nightstand. It's a nice thing because you can have your phone charger instead of it falling on the floor all the time. It has a little magnetic holder.
Tim, I have the 42-inch.
Francis has it.
I have the 42-inch, by the way, the OLED, and I love it. I know that there's the C3. I'm more than happy with the C2. Ooh,
super simple, not life-changing. It's definitely not like a monitor or something like that, but.
Why didn't I mention that? Some RC here dropping that little tidbit about that vacuum.
Yeah.
That thing is actually pretty sweet.
That is the best thing.
I use that on my felt mat all the time at home. So.
Yeah, I'll get the link for that too. I know we got that here. Yeah, sometimes it is those little things though that just make
the vacuum she's showing right now. If I had one of these, it would have been my pick because it's super cool. Just a tiny little vacuum to clean your stuff up. It's not like super abrasive. It's not even that expensive. How much was that thing?
$9.
$9.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And honestly, it holds a charge for a long time. For as much as I use it at home, I love it on the pads. So I've got don't do this. Here it comes.
She's going to show the collection.
Oh,
okay.
about to open it up.
Yeah, 64% off right now. $9.
64%
Well, it's
off.
listed as is $26 is its list price. It's high.
Yeah, so if you have like that high profile keyboard, they don't work on these lower profile keyboards. They do work pretty well. Again, just around the surface of your desk. Those bristles, they're not super abrasive, but if you have a hardwood top, I would be careful just because, I mean, just be careful. Anytime you have a hardwood top, be careful. I think that's fair.
So we've had a couple of requests for this, so I want to address it. Questions about organizing stuff on top of your desk. I already kind of talked about my philosophy. I like to get my desk as clean as possible, so I use a drawer under my desk. What's it called? Our large pencil drawer, I think it's called. 10% off, BTODtv. So I prefer to get a drawer, get everything underneath. If you do want something, we've tried some of the Grove Made products, right, that had some holders.
Yep.
That stuff's pretty expensive. I mean,
For what you get?
yeah, personally, I probably would just search for something that looks really nice on Amazon. I mean, it's also IKEA has a ton of this stuff. It's very simple, but I don't know that it depends what you're looking for. If you want something that looks really nice, then obviously the Grove Made looks awesome. If you want just straight functionality, really simple, there's a lot of that different stuff. Maybe you guys, if you have found something, you can share it with us in the chat.
There's a ton of different brands that have kind of come out in the space, but Grove Made is for sure like the name, right? So it's like almost like a Herman Miller name, not quite to that level, but you know what I mean. The fit and the finish of the products are good. They're really good, and they're made here in the States. So if that's something that you care about, of course, you're going to get what you pay for within reason. So I have a few of those products at home too, and I mean, we've tried all different brands. They do the same thing. So function-wise, there's only been a couple. I can't remember what the brand was. Those are things that we've been testing more where they don't necessarily hold up as well. So, all right.
So, yeah, we're way behind on our setup over here. So if we can throw it back. And
let's go.
Something to
throw. Let's go.
So we have up next is our Very Desk. This is a 54 by 26. No, that one is not. I'm sorry. But that's the one that's on discount right now, 20% off. Down to $636. That's a pretty good deal.
Just very.
Formerly
known
as Very Desk. Just very. Ooh, it looks like we got to do some cable management, but we'll fix that later. Not just me being picky, but
Robert will be cable managing that here shortly.
Yeah, I might just head over there now. So this is a nice desk. I like the look of these Very Desks. That was Very Desks, not Very Desks. Have a little different kind of that. What would you call that? Gray. Pewter or whatever frame color. Maybe Greg, these are relatively stable desks, right?
Yeah, actually, this is a big upgrade, I think, from their previous frame that they had when they first introduced the electric standing desk frame. So these big square tubes have a ton of stability, especially front to back. One of the things I really noticed is when this thing is almost at max height, so right now it's being kind of used at the lowest height. Most standing desks are going to be pretty good there. Once you get into like the mid-range, you'll find that the less expensive ones will start to have wobble and rocking motions. But this thing is really good almost at max height front to back, which is one of those motions that really annoy people. And it all stems from that square tube design. So Very is a big, almost to the top.
Speed doesn't seem to be its advantage.
Speed is not. Speed is not its advantage. So you can see it's moving the left to right, definitely going to have some movement there. Front to back, though, this is at max height. It's really good, considering. So if you just lower that down 4 inches, maybe you're going to find out that it's
you get the
solid.
columns are overlapping more as you go down, so that gives it a little extra stability.
So, yeah, I think that they got a great discount on the product right now. It's a good mid-range product from a well-known brand. So, again, when you're buying standing desks online and they're advertising long warranties or this and that, you got to look at the brand. Is it an established brand? Do they have staff there to support you if something happens? Will they be around in 3 to 5 years? I mean, you can put a warranty on a product, but if you don't have a brand to actually back it up, you're not going to get a warranty, and these are pretty significant investments. So
I'd also tread lightly with pass-through warranties, right? So warranties, you can either get a warranty from the manufacturer or from the brand that you bought it from, because most brands aren't actually making their desk, and that's the case with Very here. So you don't want to get a warranty passed through whoever their Chinese company is that they're working with. You want to get the brand warranty through Very, which is a lot more valuable, which you're getting from them. So try to avoid the pass-through warranty where they're just making their manufacturer service it, because it's probably not going to be as reliable.
Let's be honest. We've worked with a lot of manufacturers. We've been doing this for over 18 years. And they do not stand up for the customer like the actual company that you bought the desk from. We go to bat for our customers all the time on this kind of stuff. I would be shocked if Very isn't doing the same thing for their customers. And when you don't do that and you're relying solely on a manufacturer who sees you as one individual, not that important, versus a company like ours or Very, who's going to see you as a very important part of their business, you're going to get different service. And the manufacturers are almost always trying to find ways to kind of go around whatever it is. I mean, they are always trying to find ways where they don't have to actually support you. And I think it's crap, but it is what it is. And so that's why it's super important that you're buying from a brand that will be here now and be there later, and that they care about their customers. So
was that an intentional pun in the middle of that when you said a very important part of their business?
So I'm so good at puns that I don't even know that I'm dropping puns, but I didn't. I should have. I failed.
Well,
Thanks for catching that.
Way.
All right, what else you got in that one?
I just want to like this comment from Tin here. 99-year warranty on a fly-by-night Amazon company, and that's kind of the point.
Right.
Amazon companies, you can, give us whatever big warranty you want, but you actually trust that company is going to be around in a year that when you need it. So
COVID was a kind of a big problem for this, right? We saw a ton of startups pop up during COVID. Some of them are still around. A lot of them have died out. But those companies that kind of popped up and have only been around for, 3-4 years that are offering 15 to 20-year warranties. Yeah. I mean, if they're offering a warranty for 5 times as long as they've been in business, that's questionable.
Yeah.
There has been a ton of companies like that too, because I mean, that's the movement, right? Work from homers, they need products. So everybody thought, hey, here's a gold rush.
Yeah. So I don't know if we'll have time to get to everything on this setup. So I'm going to jump to a couple things I really like. So we have the Neat Tech cable sleeve from Human Scale. So this is definitely one of your more premium options when it comes to cable management. These are super nice looking. It's almost more like you're adding some style to your desk, in my opinion. It's this mesh, what they call like essentially a cable taco. I've seen them called
Cable taco.
Cable taco. They're very easy to use. You can see we basically attach this just to kind of show you how it works. We don't have it filled up right now, but so Francis is opening up those Velcro straps. What I like to use is like a really long power strip, one that has like 12 outlets on it. Reaches that whole length. It spreads out your cables really nicely. Again, we got lots of videos on this stuff if you want to check those out. Definitely a higher end product, but we do have 10% off BTOD.com. If you want to buy one of these Human Scale Neat Tech sleeves, we can drop the. We already got the link in there for you. We sell quite a bit of them. Thank you, Ryan.
Sell quite a bit of those.
And people really like these, so it's a great product for cable management.
This is another expensive cable management product that I do think is really worth it, though.
Yeah.
Like Human Scale is known for producing high-end, good-looking stuff. This fits the bill, and it does have a lot of practical usage, and it's probably one of the closest things that you can get to the ultimate box, but it's about half the price. So it's a good product.
For sure. There are some Amazon versions of these, but the materials aren't anywhere close. So you're getting the materials, you're getting the better looks with the Neat Tech. So I would definitely recommend going this route personally. So recommendations on power strips. My recommendation is to go to a local hardware store. 100%. If you're looking for one of those big long ones. Again, this thing, it's 4 feet long. Is these big ones is what I recommend. Looks like Francis might be finding one for me. So again, Amazon doesn't really want to ship you these. They're not because they're just long. It's going to come in a big box. This one I bought at our local Ace Hardware, so that's what I would recommend. This one's, I believe, Monster Just Power It Up is the name of it.
And it's a monster, so the name is fitting.
Yeah, so it's awesome. It's really good. A lot of people talk about these UPSs. Again, that's another thing. Don't know a ton about it. Is that what it is? Yeah, backup
UPS
power supplies.
Or UBS.
UBS, sorry, yeah.
That's how much we know about it.
That's how much we know about it, exactly.
The old UPS coming in.
I
didn't even know it was a UBS or a UPS, so I just learned something on stream.
Yeah, so that's something I want to do more research on to help you guys out, but that's definitely a whole new game of cable management, too, when you're plugging everything into a system like that.
And that would take they're big, aren't they? They're big bricks.
Yeah, you'd have to have it separate, and I don't know. We'll look into that more. But so next thing on the desk here, I really want to hit. We've mentioned this before. This Quintus light bar. So up on top there. I think, do we have this plugged in? I think it has power.
Allegedly plugged in.
No? Okay.
Oh,
it didn't charge. We're trying to charge it. Okay, well, we'll see on the, either way, you guys have seen how these work now. So what I've had a Quintus for 3-4 years. They've now, because we've kind of bought more as they've updated them, there's now 3 different levels or different versions of these they've had. This is definitely a lower price range. So these are right now, you can get it for about $31 with a coupon, $31, $32. It does fluctuate a lot in price, whereas you can get these for around that $31 pretty often, but now is a good time to buy, and I would keep watching it throughout the week. It might drop even lower. Oh, we got it powered. Awesome.
There we go.
So I actually have 2 of these. Okay, so I'll explain why. I have a two monitor setup and an L-shaped desk. So what I do is I put one on each of my monitors. When you put those on, it just, the spread of light is awesome. So it gets just all the way kind of on each end of my desk as it goes to the left and right. When you just have one, it really bugged me aesthetically too when I only had one, but with dual monitors, I'm like, well, where do I put it? Do I put it on the left monitor, but then it is lighting up the left side of my desk more so? So I was like, you know what, it's $31. I'm just going to get another one, put one on each desk, light them up, and it's such a nice spread of light. I could probably turn the light down a little bit on both of them so it's not like so bright. But yeah, they also match each other in good lighting. Francis is showing the asymmetrical pattern, so you can see that. You can see a good line there.
The problem is when you have to pitch it out and up, which means it's going to hit your eyes.
Yep.
That's the only way you can get it to actually have some form of an actual defined line of darkness on there. It's going to be annoying for your eyes, though. So,
I mean, personally, I like I said, I've been using a Quintus for years. I have no issue with it. It doesn't shine on my monitor too much. It doesn't shine on my eyes. I got one on each monitor, and I love it. So,
if you have a matte monitor screen, it's going to be helpful.
And like I said, I don't even know the brand of mine, and I love it. So
we gave
Ryan for the win.
We gave Ryan arguably the cheapest one in the office, and he's super stoked.
Perfect.
So
I love it. Couldn't be happier.
So the story here is that a lot of these, as long as they work, are going to provide that value to light up your surface and give you that ambiance, as they say. All right, Robert. So we've got just a few minutes here, so you're going to have to run through the last thing.
Yeah, so some of these things aren't maybe as important, so I'll skip them. But
not for the full stream, by the way, before the next giveaway. Sorry.
Okay. So dropping back down to the floor here is our Sitmatic Footsie footrest. So this is a really nice one for if you want, again, not everyone wants to, or in the environment where you're taking your shoes off and stuff. So this is a good one. If you're wearing shoes in an office, it kind of has that, there has rubber pads essentially running along the bottom, so it stays in place nicely. A lot of people in our office are using these. I don't know if you guys can share more about. I haven't used this.
The advantage of these is that they're just really well built and they hold up forever. So the problem with footrests mainly is that you order them. They're usually made of plastic, and if they have any type of movement, they're going to break or wear out, and you need to replace them every year. This is not going to be the case because it's just complete metal.
Yeah,
the downside is
aluminum.
that it's not going to be the most comfy, and I wouldn't use it somewhere where you're like in a basement like Greg because it's going to be a little bit chillier. But in an office environment with shoes, you can show Francis is showing the dual purpose capability there. It is a really good office footrest because they last forever, they do their job well, and it works for anyone of any height. So that's why we have so many of them here.
Yep.
100%. All right, so before we go on this next giveaway, can you hit them with the legal stuff?
We should just record me and we just insert the video.
I like that.
No purchase necessary. In order to enter this sweepstakes, you need to be over 18 and reside in the continental U.S. Type #chair in chat to enter, and a winner will be chosen at random at the end of the 5-minute countdown.
And what are we giving away?
You tell me.
Oh, I'll tell you then. All right. It is an Ameep chair. So it's the last Ameep chair that just is an Ameep chair, because the next giveaway, the final giveaway, is going to be the combo. So this is an Ameep chair in black. Like Ryan said, you got to be in the U.S. to be eligible. #chair. In the next 5 minutes, we're going to give that away. Robert, was there anything else you wanted to cover here, or were there? If we got time for Q&A in between, we can do that. after?
Yeah, just real quick, we talked about the sale briefly before. So Herman Miller has good discounts going on. To me, this is not my favorite of the Herman Miller chairs, but it is a good option for this kind of, again, this is kind of our mid-range setup. So it's a nice mid-range Herman Miller chair. Personally, I'd stay away from like the Veris or the Lino in the Herman Miller lineup. This is probably the first one that I would purchase as far as price range. This is probably the cheapest one that I would recommend. For me, it's a little bit of a short backrest, so at my height, I just don't necessarily love it. I think Ryan maybe likes this chair a little more.
I just like it because I can use it. It fits me. You really kind of need to be shorter or more petite to use it. If you're tall, the backrest is going to dig into you, and the seat isn't very wide or super deep, so that's going to be another problem. To be honest, I think I don't agree with not going with the Veris, especially right now, because it's so cheap from Herman Miller. Herman Miller's sale right now is ridiculous, 25% off. We're seeing prices that we saw way back when we originally bought chairs. So you can get the Aeron right now for almost the same price we got it for 5 years ago, which is incredible. And the sale is in that boat. And so right now you're getting the best value you're ever going to get out of the chair. It's going to be certainly in the conversation for one of the best options under that $1,000 mark, just because of the technology in the chair. It is a well-built chair, and you're getting that Herman Miller warranty, which is the most valuable warranty in the biz. So overall, I think it's a good chair. You just need to be able to fit it. So if you're over, I'd say probably 5'10", I would probably avoid this. And if you're, maybe over 230, 240, I'd probably look in a different direction as well.
Yeah, this is that situation that I talked about where I wish they had different sizes. Like if I could get a size C sale, I'd probably love this chair. It's got the nice recline, not quite the Aeron, but it's got a nice recline. I love the look of this chair, but it just doesn't quite fit. But yeah, it's really good deal right now. It's definitely worth looking at those Herman Miller chairs.
All right, Q&A. This is a great Q&A question. I noticed that y'all don't have too many Herman Millers on BTOD. Is that due to sourcing, older refurbishing, or something? Well, looks like this is cutting off. I was hoping to find an Embody eventually. So we've only ever had Aerons, and they were the Aeron Classic. That's what we have all of our parts for. Ryan, why do we not sell it anymore? At least, why are we not offering them in a refurbished for sale all the time format?
Well, for me, I don't like the chair. I think the chair is wildly uncomfortable. It's very, very expensive to source on the used market. It's the most expensive chair to source. It's the most expensive chair to refurbish, and therefore it becomes the most expensive chair to sell. And at the end of the day, we're selling a very expensive refurbished chair that I ranked as F tier for comfort. And so me personally, I don't feel great about that. I get that people want to buy things that they're going to buy regardless of whether we like them or not. And that's perfectly fine. We have a ton of products that we don't necessarily love that we sell because we need to fill a certain niche. But this is just a tough one. It was a tough one to continue selling just because it ties up so much capital. It takes so many resources from our team to refurbish them and put so much work into them to get them to the standards that we want to sell them for. And then I just don't think that they provide as good of a value as a Lamia, a Leap, and a Mia, a Meep, or any of the other options that you can get out there. So,
and I think people were responding with the same feeling because it had a high return rate. People get them and they don't love them because you might not think that the remaster was a significant change, but they made significant changes to a couple key areas on that chair that make it so much better than the original Classic that knowing that, it's really hard to offer the Classic on a regular basis. So it's just not a high priority. You may see them come in every once in a while, but we're going to be pretty picky about what we're bringing in. And to be honest, we're not excited about selling them because we know that you guys don't love them. And there's just this whole thing around it where it's the name. I have a Herman Miller Aeron, but the reality of it is that you're probably not going to like it. And
I'll drop some insider numbers on you guys here. The Leaps, Amias, Ameeps, and Lamias that we sell get returned consistently at lower than a 5% rate, typically around 3%, okay? That Aeron Classic was edging near 20%. 20% of the chairs that left our building were coming back as returns because the customers did not like them.
And it's
so
a
it becomes
issue.
It's just a
Almost
tough
always.
sell because fiscally it's tough to do it. It's tough to hear that much negative feedback about a chair and continue to kind of push it. So it is what it is at this point.
All right,
we don't sell their new stuff because Herman Miller just doesn't like us. So
that's a fact.
that's just the way that is. So
all right, so we're ready to give it away. Give it away now.
Winner, drum roll.
Aaron Frost.
Wow,
Congratulations.
we got an easy one to pronounce.
Congratulations. I even got a picture up of you. So
Nice,
let's go.
Aaron.
Let's go, Aaron.
Too bad it wasn't
Congratulations.
an Aaron we were giving away.
He missed the whole
Yeah,
part
he
of the
wouldn't want it
segment.
after what we just
Oh,
said.
but remastered. maybe.
Well, yes, that's true.
Yeah.
There we go.
We do like the remastered, you know.
All right, Aaron, you have to hit us up at marketing at BTOD. Taylor's going to run through it here. However, you need to let us know what your address is. That's it with this one. It's in black. That's the only option. So just let us know where to ship it. We'll get it out to you. So we got one more setup, and then at the end of this setup, we're going to give away the Ameep chair plus the NV desk, which is in a ton of different sizes and combinations. I don't know if we necessarily, I think it's just open to pick your
You
size.
get whatever
and
you
color.
want. We didn't put any limitations, so
Let's go. I like that.
you can get the biggest desk and the coolest color, and you're rolling with it.
Exactly. So I think that's going to be massive. So stick around for that one. So we're going to kick it off now with our last setup, and this is me. So this is my desk that I actually use at home, different color, but this is the S series, which we've talked about, which shameless plug again, 20% off right now, S series 20. So I know that stuff's pinned in the chat. If you're interested, this is the least expensive you'll ever find this desk. Now, we created this because, well, we know it's expensive, but there's a reason behind it. There is no other product in the space that's a standing desk for those of you who wanted to have the best of everything. Meaning, not only is the desk the best, the surface and the actual frame itself, but the service behind it, the way that you receive it. There's a lot of people who don't want to assemble it. They don't want to deal with any of the headaches of having to service it or receive it or any of that stuff. This is the most ridiculous desk when it comes from all of those aspects. So number one, it's super stable. Number two, it's got an 1.5 inch thick solid wood maple top, long planks from Wisconsin here. It is premium, but it also comes delivered to your house, fully assembled, room of choice. Why does that matter? Well, you can get some of the major manufacturers to bring the desk and assemble it in your house. That means that there's people hanging out in your house for an hour and a half trying to assemble a desk. This one just comes fully assembled to the room of choice. You got 365 days to decide if you like it or not. If you don't, we just pick it up and give you all your money back. And then it's a buy it for life thing. You buy this and we'll service it forever. That means forever. As long as BTOD's around, we're servicing your desk. And
With
that's
on-site technicians.
Exactly.
We're not making you replace columns or replace the work surface. If anything that goes wrong, you don't have to do the work, okay? So this is the ultimate desk for someone that just wants the best desk in the world to show up. If anything happens, they make a call and it's fixed. And if they don't like it, they make a call and it's picked up and they get all their money back.
Yep.
And we're not exaggerating when we say that this is the best desk from a component standpoint, because the frame on this desk is without question the best quality frame out there, okay? It's not made of steel. It's made of aluminum, but it's extruded properly so that it's stable and it's not a bendy, wobbly, flexible mess like a lot of aluminum desks are out there. It also has an incredible range, super stable. It's the best of the best base, and that's why we're confident selling it for this price. We know it's going to last forever.
One of the biggest things too with it, I think, that people don't necessarily recognize with standing desks and the steel tubes is the fact that the metal and the paint will always wear off from it moving up and down. The anodized aluminum process, this anodization process, means that this thing is going to look exactly as it does when it delivers to you in 20 years. It's incredible that more manufacturers aren't using this, because that's one of the biggest drawbacks across the entire category. We're talking Linac, we're talking Jiakang, we're talking all the brands. You are going to have ugly rub marks over time. Now, if you don't care, you don't care. But if you do care, and a lot of people who spend this money do care, that's what you get.
Yeah, we were doing a video a while back. Greg asked me to take a penny, scrape it on the side of the desk leg. And I'm like, really? Should I? I did it. Wipes right off. It doesn't leave any mark because of this anodization process. So
Right.
You'd think that, yeah, of course, the penny's going to leave all these marks on it, but you see it, but it doesn't actually penetrate into it. So
now, if you don't want to get the best of the best when it comes to everything and have it as a buy for life type of product, even though, I mean, I use it, so. But I think that you can look at the XT too as an alternative, which is essentially the same frame, and you get all of those same component qualities. You don't get as nice a surface, and you don't have as, I guess, hands-on with everything, delivery and things. It's going to be less money. So if you don't want to necessarily pay for all the services, then you could look at an XT. On here, though, it comes with a cable management box. There's a ton of different sizes and colors, so you would want to look at that as well. On top of that, we got to pair it up with what Ryan thinks is a S-Series chair. I wouldn't disagree from a comfort standpoint. This is kind of like, this is it when it comes to a setup. That Fern is amazing with the digital knit. It doesn't have the lumbar support, though, which I think is a miss. Now, Ryan would disagree. That thing right now is, I think the base price on this is like $14.75. With their 20% off coupon at Hayworth, it's like $11.80. It's an incredible chair. Now, I think that one's a little bit more expensive because it's chromed out.
And it has, well...
and forward tilt and all those other features.
If you get all of the options, I think it ends up being like $1,300. But still a really... really good chair for the price, without question. Is Steelcase running a sale too? Because I saw Herman Miller is okay. So Steelcase 20%, Hayworth 20%, Herman Miller 25%. So again, we're seeing prices that we don't see very often. They're really trying to, drum up some sales here, which is understandable. But this chair is a very good value for this price. If you don't get any of the extras added to it, and it's just over $1,000, that's a really, really good value. So
100%.
Yeah, we also highly recommend the digital knit fabric on the backrest. We also have a mesh version of the Fern here, and you just get a little extra kind of a little extra pad with that digital knit, and I mean it looks so premium. So excuse me. So it looks great. It feels nice. I can't even describe it, but
the first part is like a bonus, right? Because you'd think that you're just buying the digital knit for the upgraded look. That's typically why you get, a nicer upholstery. It's not necessarily going to be more comfortable. It just has a more in-depth pattern, more colors, something that makes it more expensive. That's typically how it is with the backrest. But adding the digital knit doesn't just give you the more upscale feel of a cooler pattern. It gives you some more thickness, some actual more padding in the backrest, more cozy feeling, lets you sink in a little bit more, kind of like a pillow effect. So, yeah, I think it's a great
If you're a warm
addition.
cat, though,
yeah.
If you are hot, maybe not the best option.
Yeah.
I mean, I run pretty hot, and I've never had that problem.
Really? Okay, so it's still breathable enough.
I will say that I would not go with, like, the leather version of this chair, because we do have the gaming Fern.
Yep.
And that seat, I can't use it for more than a half an hour without, like, feeling warm. And so guaranteed the backrest would be the same way. But I don't have the problem with the digital knit or the mesh. So,
And one quick I'll interject that the Zodi digital knit is not the same as the Fern digital knit.
Right.
A Zodi digital knit is essentially like a nicer version of their mesh. It doesn't have that quilted kind of padded feeling to it. So
that's one that looks nicer but doesn't add any more functionality to it.
So if you're buying the Zodi and getting the digital knit, you're doing it more for the looks. If you're doing it with the Fern, you're getting the looks plus a little more comfortable feeling. So.
All right, so what else we got on there? The big monitor, the
nice
big monitor. So the Samsung Odyssey, 140 hertz. It looks like it is ridiculous right now. Is it really 33% off? $799?
That's wild.
I feel like I already looked at this, but I didn't really realize how awesome it is. 33. Okay,
33% off.
That's a legit Black Friday deal. If you have been looking at this, that's probably going to be one of the best prices you're going to see. I mean, it says Black Friday deal. I don't know if it gets any better than that. It's way better than what we paid for it. And then we've got it on the human scale M10 arm. So I think that the Ergotron HX, their heavy duty, is a less expensive, does a lot of the same things for less money, but it's not as well put together. The human scale product is without question the most expensive one that we've tested, but it's the nicest. So like if you're, yes, you can set it, forget it, hide it behind your monitor, I don't care, it functions. But if you're someone who wants the best of the best, kind of like the desk, this is what you want, because this is the best looking arm we've seen. It has no problem holding all the different size monitors we've put on it. It's got great cable management, and it looks amazing. It functions super well. So
yeah, and I think if you're looking to buy this monitor, you should already be thinking what you're going to do as far as a monitor arm. Are you going to leave it on its own stand, or are you going to be putting it on an arm and knowing that not all arms are going to work with this big, heavy monitor? And also, I recommend probably having some help when you're moving that monitor around, putting it on the arm, especially the first time. That thing's a beast. That's a heavy monitor, and you'll see when you move it around, you're going to want a really heavy-duty arm to put that on.
Spending the money on this thing also gives you the prestige of the brand that you're getting too, right? Like most monitor arms are just throwaway brand names. This one, I mean, you can kind of toot your horn a little bit. You know, this is one of the most expensive human scale monitor arms. Human scale is known for having some of the most premium ergonomic accessories in the world. So that kind of just goes with the theme of just having the nicest everything. If you like to have the nicest everything, nice brands, whatever, this is a good one.
Speaking of the nicest, best everything, this one has my other light bar on it. This is the
the BenQ.
Yes, sorry. I had a blank there on which model it is, but it's the Halo. And the reason for the Halo is that it actually has a backlight on it, so you can light up behind the monitor, and then it also has the typical monitor light bar, but it comes with a super intuitive puck. So I love this puck for a lot of different reasons. Number one, it just feels good. So if you want to have well-built, good quality stuff, this is definitely it. But it's got some favorite settings that you can do on there. So if you like to bounce around between different settings, which depending if you have overhead lights on bright, some are dimmed, maybe you have different sort of daylight that comes in through your windows. These are different settings that are important, and it's nice to be able to just kind of pop back and forth between them. But you're going to pay a premium for it. But I don't know, Robert, I haven't seen, is there another one that has that backlighting function other than this?
I've not seen that.
Yeah, so
not on any product.
I think that's an awesome option if you're looking to add some of that backlighting off your monitor and you don't necessarily want to add to the cables or find something else to work with it. They can work independently too, which is cool. You don't have to have the light bar on. You can just have the backlight both on at the same time. It's pretty sweet setup. And then on top of that, we've also got the Delta Hub felt mat. So this is what I use at home, and I use it on the S series because I have the S series at home. And it is, I love it. I use it so much that I can tell that there's a little bit of wear and tear on that over time as your hands rest on that. Like Robert said, it doesn't do as great of a job with if you spill something on it, you can't really clean it up the same, but it feels good. I love how it feels. It's not uncomfortable. It doesn't feel cheap, and it's relatively inexpensive. Right now they got a 10% coupon on it. My guess is they're probably going to do a bigger coupon on this one, so I might hold tight on it for now. I bet they'll go a little bit lower on that one.
Yeah, it does look more premium than your PU pads. I mean, it's like you got a desk that price so that you put a $10 pad on it. I mean, I think it's worth putting a little nicer protection, and just looks-wise, it matches the look of the desk nicely.
And I didn't really notice, because we have Grove-made pad here too. I didn't really notice the difference from a quality standpoint, and you're paying quite a bit less. So that might be a nice option if you're looking to save some money.
To me, the Grove-made feels more like snaggy, like it's like more kind of wool feeling. So it's like you're going to kind of feel that a little bit of abrasiveness, I guess, in the Grove-made, where I actually prefer the Delta Hub at a much lower price.
I use that vacuum on this one. So I hit the vacuum all the time with it, and it does a really good job cleaning stuff up on there. If you might have crumbs on your desk surface, maybe.
I just want to quick jump in here. Someone said that they liked our clock on that desk. I really was hoping that little, I think it's a LaMetric clock. This thing never goes on sale, but I keep watching this week. This is the week. If it ever is going to go on sale, it would be this week. That's $200. I agree. These are super cool. We actually get a lot of comments that people love this thing, but unfortunately not on sale right now. I put it on there hoping that I'd find out that today would be on sale. Not yet, but you could have your subscribers, the weather, all that kind of stuff. So keep watching that. I know there's other products similar to that. And
subscribers, we didn't even tell people. You should subscribe if you're not already subscribed, right? You got to subscribe, and then once you subscribe, we'll show that you subscribed by showing that new number.
Yeah. subscribe now and it'll pop up on the thing.
I love that we do these videos and then you'll see progressively as they show up, like when they go live, you'll see the difference in the subscriber count. And we appreciate everybody who's subscribed, by the way. Thank you. All right, what else we got on that setup? We've got it. It's like basically my setup from home.
Yeah, is that footrest on the floor? Do you want to say
I don't have that one. Yes. That one's pretty sweet though. It's $125 normally from Human Scale. It's $112.50 right now on our website with 10% off. It's the FR300. Look at that thing glide. Honestly, it doesn't feel maybe like a Human Scale product, like from the substance of it, but like it works really, really well. And I think it's super comfortable. I love the way that it glides. It kind of gives you that active feeling as you're, working at your desk for long periods of time.
I think it feels like a Human Scale product once you feel
right.
other products.
Yeah, that's true.
Like when you feel the other products that come in from Amazon, from the generic, and even like the brands like 3M. Like we got a bunch of 3M products in here. They broke right away. Whereas this Human Scale one is very, very sturdy compared to those, and it works much more smoothly compared to those. So yeah, it's a premium price again. That's the case with every Human Scale product. That's their jam. They sell premium stuff for premium prices, but it's usually among the best out there. So
I got to run through our coupons one more time. So number one, BTOD coupons that we got right now, NV15 for the NV electric standing desk, 15% off the NV, all kinds of different combinations and colors. The AMEEP chair, if you know what that is or don't know what it is an AMIA core with the Leap seat. AMEEP 20 will get you 20% off. Then we also have the Combo 20, which is the AMEEP plus the NV. That's Combo 20. You get 20% off the combo on that. Ultimate 15, if you want cable management, the Ultimate Cable Management Box is definitely the ticket. And during a live stream is the only time that you're going to see these coupons available. So 15% off that is an amazing price. And then finally the S-Series 20, which is the desk that we were looking at. 20% off any of those configurations from the S-Series desk setups. And again, that's a buy it for life type of product. So what else do we have on this?
So 1 second quick. Someone asked about the footrest and whether or not it would be okay to use on hard surface. It is going to be a metal frame, but they do have some kind of almost like felty type protectors on the bottom. So as long as you make sure that it's being protected, it should be fine. But
yeah. So one product we kind of skipped over too, that we've had a couple questions now about footrest. So I think we can hit the Cushion Lab. I don't know if you can maybe find that one, Francis. Should be close. So this has a really good Black Friday deal. It's actually lower than what we were expecting, down to $43 on this one. This has kind of this built-in wave design inside that pad. So yeah, if you open it up, you can really see this again, removable cover. So if you get it dirty, you can open it up, wash it, and then have fun trying to put it back together. But it does have these waves going all the way across. So if you're, wearing socks barefoot, you're going to be able to feel those kind of wave pattern. Has more of a memory foam type feel. So earlier in the stream, we talked about this Comfy Life one, which that's why I referenced, I would maybe wait on the Comfy Life, because this I think is a nicer pad it's actually, I think, less money right now at $43. So really nice option. I think, Greg, you've used this one probably even more. So any opinions?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. The fact is that this is the only one with the actual charcoal foam in it. So if you're worried about stinkiness with your feet being on there and you're not doing a good job washing your feet, then this might be a nice option, because you can actually prevent those odors from building up. Or you could try the alternative, which would be to use soap, and then that will avoid that problem at home. It also has a removable cover, so you can wash that. But again, we talked about removing covers, washing them, and trying to get them back on. Typically doesn't work very well, so I would probably avoid that the best that you can. But I think honestly it's a great product. They're a little bit more expensive, but the quality is there when you put them next to each other. For me, I'm using the Comfy Life brand at home for the most part, and I've been pretty happy with it. And that's quite a bit less money too. So if you want the best of the best when it comes to these foam ones, that's probably it. If you want to maybe save some bucks, you can go Comfy Life as an alternative as well.
I'm going to hop back to the Fern here quick for a second. Cyrus, is the forward tilt on the Fern worth it? It completely depends on how you use your chair. It's not a super expensive addition. I think it's like 40 or 50 bucks. And the function works very well. The one thing I don't like about it is that the backrest doesn't come with you. So it's basically just kind of a perched position. You're not going to have any back support, which is fine. It kind of just turns it into like a kneeling chair. which just kind of helps you get into that more position mentality, allowing you to use the chair in different positions. Personally, I don't like it and never, ever use my chair in a forward tilted position. So for me, it's not worth the upgrade, and I would go without it. But if you think that you would use it, I don't think that the upgrade has such a cost that you shouldn't get it, because it's pretty negligible compared to the overall price of the chair. So even if you get it and you don't end up using it, it's not a huge investment in my opinion.
All right, so what else we got for questions? Because I think we're running up here towards the end, and we're going to be doing the final combo giveaway, which again is the Envy desk plus the Ameep chair. But if we've got some more questions, let's grab those. So if you got a question that you want to either see a product maybe demonstrated, or maybe you have just a question about a product, let us know. If
Jacob, right now we have no plans to remanufacture a fern, and especially not a digital knit fern. That would probably be a pretty unique refurbishing process, getting access to that upholstery. So short answer, no.
Hey now, Brian Reinhardt says, Greg with the hockey player look has terrible smelling feet, likely. That's untrue because I use good soap, Dial. But I have to say that this is actually the start of something that's going to be extremely great. You just don't know what it is yet. This is just a cover-up until I get to that point. So you'll see it in upcoming videos. I think you're going to like it. And I don't play hockey. That's Ryan. He just doesn't have the look.
My son does.
Yeah, he does.
Plays.
Yeah, he does.
I've seen Ryan skate. He can play too.
He was a good player. That's true. I'm not a good skater.
Someone's asking to show us the Ameep. Are we able to roll the Ameep
Let's roll.
back
Yeah,
out
let's
there?
go. And then that's perfect because then I can hit him with the Ameep 20.
And soon I get to read off my terms and conditions.
That's coming up, yes. So Ameep 20, 20% off all Ameeps. It's an awesome deal. This is the best deal. I've been saying this is the best deal in ergonomic seating. 12-year warranty on the entire chair. It's got a 30-day free returns program. When you add 20% to this, or the coupon on it, it's in like the low 300s. I honestly don't think that there's a better option out there. So
yeah, I think it becomes $319.99.
yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. Someone's sitting in a Calmy chair right now.
Nice.
All right, so what do you want to see on the Ameep chair? Let's just run through the adjustments.
It's going to have a good adjustment package. I mean, it's not going to have what the Leap has, but you're going to get a good tension adjustment.
Yep, that's what she's doing.
A good
right now.
recline. You can lock it in the forward position. And then it's going to have a good seat height range, good seat depth range. And then the four-way arms that you get with the Leap, which I think are right there with the best arms in the biz. And then you get a height adjustable lumbar support system. So it's not going to have any depth adjustment like the Leap. And that's one of the reasons it's less expensive. But I really like the lumbar support on the EMEA. And I think it's got a good backrest overall. So it's not going to have the most adjustments, but that's why it's not priced like a Leap or a Gesture. Priced a little bit more affordable. And this version is the most affordable version of all times.
Nikki, you're right. It does smell beautiful. My hair does smell beautiful. Got all kinds of product in there to lock it in. So before we go and do the giveaway and answer a few more questions here, we are going to do another live stream for Cyber Monday. So this is going to be a little bit different format where we're actually going to be looking at the things that we were looking at today and just seeing, are there any better deals out there on that exact day? So it's also going to open the opportunity for us to change the format a little bit for you guys. So we want to get your opinion. If there's something, if you've been watching the live stream at any point today, was there something that we missed, something you wanted to see, or was there something that you'd like us to do that we're not necessarily doing in these live streams? Because we'd like to try and do that more on Monday. If you're not familiar, this is the second one we've done. I know that we really enjoy it, but we want to make sure you guys are as well. So drop that down in the comment section, or in the chat, excuse me. Let us know if there's anything you'd like to see or that we're missing.
George or Jorge, is it worth upgrading to the metal frame? That's just going to be completely based on aesthetics. The plastic frame is still super durable. It's not like it's going to crack or break or anything like that, whereas the metal frame wouldn't, unless you're super overloading the chair's weight. It's just going to be purely aesthetics. Personally, I think it does upgrade the look of it quite a bit, but you're not gaining any functionality. So if you want the extra look, cool. If not, you can save some money. Embody or Fern, better for cross-legged sitting. I would probably lean towards the Fern just because it has a more traditional seat without the plastic. I don't know if you can see it on my screen, probably not, but the Embody has these plastic handles to adjust the seat depth, and they're going to be in the spot where you'd most likely have your foot or ankle if you're going to have your leg up cross-legged. So that would be the only thing that I would think might be a problem. But personally, I don't sit that way, so I don't have a lot of experience with it, but initial thoughts, I'd probably have to say the Fern.
Yeah, like for me, that's really important because I sit like that all the time with my leg underneath the other leg. Not possible or not very comfortable in the Carmen. So it's definitely something to think about. Like Ryan said, Embody's going to have that handle. Still doable, but not ideal. Aeron, it's like impossible to sit like this. Something like the Ameep, Lamia, Leap, all of those steel case chairs with the padded seats, you're going to be very comfortable sitting cross-legged. It's good to think about before you buy because they're different styles of chairs. Definitely going to change how you can sit in them.
Are we at the giveaway? Is it time? It's time.
Oh, that's me. No purchase necessary for this giveaway. In order to enter this sweepstakes, you need to be over 18 and reside in the continental United States. Sorry, Hawaii and Alaska. Hashtag chair in chat. No spaces, capitalization does not matter. And in 5 minutes, we'll select a winner at random.
What are they winning?
The Ameep and the Envy combo.
It's a game changer.
You're getting a full setup, folks.
You're getting
a great chair and a great desk. Your life is about to change.
And you can flex on all your friends. That's what I would do. I would just guaranteed I'd flex on all my friends.
Flex my jawbone that's apparently stronger because I sneeze a lot.
Which brings up a really good point because you have gotten super strong from all the sneezing. And you do have a very defined jawline from it, and your strength is superhuman. However, you made a mention that you need help with the 49-inch ultra-wide screen.
Well, here's the thing. I can lift it, but, you're the one that foot the bill for the monitor at $1,000, and I don't want to be the one to drop the monitor and, break our $1,000 investment.
You didn't foot the bill.
Someone did.
Well,
that's what he's saying.
That's what I'm saying. You did.
Did you mention?
I don't want to break it.
Did you say foot because I have hockey player look and arguably or allegedly, possibly
Apparently.
Stinky feet? I don't know what's coming back at me pretty hard
saying.
there. That's what they're saying out there. That's what they're saying.
That might be some projecting.
Yeah. All right.
Yes,
I'm gonna hit
the U.S. only. Just a quick note: U.S. only for the giveaway.
And continental U.S. only.
Right. Sorry about that. But here's the thing. I got to know, did you guys like the live stream? We're still doing it right now. We're still got questions, but I got to know, just personally, this is 3 hours. We're going on 3 hours. Did you like it? And what do you want to see us do on Cyber Monday? Because we're going to be busting out more stuff on Cyber Monday. We got to know, what did we miss? Is there something you want to know about that we didn't cover? Let us know in the chat.
And we're coming in the final countdown.
You had to stay for the full 3 hours to get Ryan singing.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
Ryan sang one other time, and I love it when he drops. I love it when he drops it because he's obviously the best in the office.
I'm scrolling through this crazy sheet trying to see if we've got any other killer deals that we've come across.
Someone did mention Govee. Tons of Govee deals coming out right now. There's the Govee Glide lights. I believe they're about $60 right now. I think Francis does a lot of work reconning some of these deals for us. So really good deal. They're not like my favorite product necessarily. We used them in one of our setups for a while. They're cool because they can light up an area and kind of have a design, but they're a little restricting. You can't just shape them however you want. We also have the Govee floor lamp, which is, I think they currently call it the Govee Christmas floor lamp, but that's also...
What's up with that?
My computer just glitched there for a second. But that's, Francis, you know the deal on that? I think that's pretty good. $95 for that. Those are usually around $150, I believe. $160. So big deal on the Govee floor lamp. you've probably seen some of those.
We're starting to see the margins Govee has on their products.
Yeah, exactly.
It's ridiculous.
So we can't quite see it. It's in the corner here. If you've watched any of our videos, you've seen these Govee floor lamp. It's a big stick that kind of lights into the corner. Maybe we can get some footage on it in a second. That's the one I really recommend if I were going to buy like a Govee lamp type product. I'd go for the Govee floor lamp again. That's currently called the Govee Christmas floor lamp, but it has nothing Christmas about it really. So, yeah, I think
It has Christmas colored lights that you can do if you want, right? Or no?
yeah. Oh yeah, sure. You could change all the colors. I remember I think the last stream I was saying how it changed to different light temperatures and all this. I'm like, oh yeah, it doesn't have all the features. And then I hit a different button and all of a sudden it turned like blue. And I'm like, oh, okay, I guess it can change all colors. But
Nice.
is the remote over there? Maybe.
Show them how it works. Where's your Christmas color? All right, last giveaway here. Here it comes. Who's it gonna be?
Chair and desk.
Full setup, y'all. Ruben Guzman, you have won the full desk setup. That's pretty ridiculous.
Congrats, Ruben. It's awesome.
What is your current setup? Have you upgraded it with this new setup? Gotta know. Let us know in the chat. Congrats, man. Appreciate you sticking around with us. Hopefully you've been here since the beginning. That means you committed over 3 hours of your life.
And it was well worth it.
And it was well worth it. All right, so you got anything else you want to share before we end this?
I don't know. I think it's been great.
Robert?
No, I don't think so. Just again, if you want a quick comment in here, or you can always also make this will be posted after if you want to make comments. What you'd like us to do on Monday? Do you have a lot of question answers, or we can run through some more setups? So we're still figuring that one out. So hopefully Cyber Monday, planning on 9 o'clock again, right?
9 o'clock.
9 a.m. Central Time. So meet us back here. Personally, I love doing these questions. So I think if you guys bring us those questions, we'll answer as much as we can. Some of them, it's hard for us to answer. We might not have the knowledge to do, but we'll do the best we can, especially giving you opinion on chairs and products. So.
That's right. All right, and don't forget, we got coupons. They're going to end here shortly. A MEEP 20 for 20% off a MEEP. If you didn't get an opportunity to win one, you might get an opportunity on Monday as well. But if you want to buy one now, just get it going. A MEEP 20, NV 15, 15% off the NV standing desk. Combo 20 for the two together, so 20% off that combo. Ultimate 15 if you want the Ultimate Cable Management box. And then lastly, the S-Series 20, so 20% off the S-Series. It's the best standing desk in the business. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next one.